Beni de aldın dur.
Ben çekemem ben de bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü?
Gördüm. Al ve sona yakışmaz mı?
Gördüm beyler, al ve sona yakışmaz mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi ya, abi şimdi
Ben sev...
TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi vardı senin başına geçirmeyeceğim.
Tamam. Biliyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz hala.
TETO Games aynı.
Beni de aldın dur.
Ben çekemem ben de bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü?
Gördüm. Al ve sona yakışmaz mı?
Gördüm beyler, al ve sona yakışmaz mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi ya, abi şimdi
Ben sev...
TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi vardı senin başına geçirmeyeceğim.
Tamam. Biliyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz hala.
TETO Games aynı.
Beni de aldın dur.
Ben çekemem ben de bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü?
Gördüm. Al ve sona yakışmaz mı?
Gördüm beyler, al ve sona yakışmaz mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi ya, abi şimdi
Ben sev...
TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi vardı senin başına geçirmeyeceğim.
Tamam. Biliyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz hala.
TETO Games aynı.
Beni de aldın dur.
Ben çekemem ben de bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Always On Romania edition here of TETO Games for season, not 1, but bloody number 2. It's going to be an exciting day here of PUBG Mobile Esports action. My name is Maxman, but of course I cannot do this job alone, as I'm going to be joined by my co-caster that is still named DK. How are you doing, DK? What's up?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty well. Excited to be here today. Looking forward to seeing what Season 2 is going to be bringing onto the battlefield here, Max.
Yeah, and it's going to be very exciting. Of course, we've got a lot of great teams joining the fray here from Romania. And when you think Romania, you got a few names that come to mind, right, DK? In particular, the Vicious, that were just dominating last season. They won Season 1 by, I think you said it earlier, they had a massive point lead. I don't know if you remember exactly how much it was, but
72 points.
Yeah, well, there you go. 72 points in only 2 days worth of action, 10 games. We'll see if anyone's going to be able to just, even closing the gap, I would say would be a win, but Vicious are going to be the big favorites here. But there's so much talent. There's just looking to level up in this tournament that, who knows, DK, maybe some teams are looking to chase them down this event.
Yeah, I think especially looking at the team lineup that we have, there could potentially be an opportunity for, you know, the Vicious maybe not to be the one sitting at the top at the end of tomorrow. Of course, the team I'm going to be looking for on that is, as we've discussed beforehand, right? Ozrox, they definitely could have quite a bit of an opportunity here, looking to spice things up a little bit. But if you look back at last season, I think even Big Baby, right? There could be an opportunity for them to finish strong here. Last season, they ended in that second place, so there's nothing wrong with a bit of a bounce back, right? You want to see that improvement come in as well.
Yeah, I mean, Big Baby have a lot of potential to do well going into this event. Looking at their roster, they do have Stroes, Exo, which I also do believe is Exo McKenna, that was playing in the past for also other big Romanian teams. Overlady, King, and also Babang FG. So you got really decent lineup over there. But I also want to really highlight the team you just mentioned here, DK, which is going to be Ozrox Esports. You got Melaz, which Melaz is an insanely experienced, knowledgeable player from this region, joined up by Blue. Also, Leon Ford has got exceptional grenades, especially back during PMNC, their regional PMNC, and even during EECA. And also, I think it's PC, or it could be Picky. I'm not sure of the pronunciation here, PICI. So this is a roster that I think could be in the podium. First place, again, we said it, Vicious is going to be really hard to take down, but I would love to see a good showing here from Ozrox and show that they have that potential in a lobby like this to be a top-tier contender.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you on that one. I mean, even looking at the players coming through from Team Moldova, right? They're also stepping back on the battlefield. At least it's the same name coming onto the battlefield again. So I want to see if there's a little bit of that continuation, right? Teams may be looking to shake things up a little bit as we progress on forward. So I think we've got a lot to look forward to as we are going to be working our way through our map rotation. And of course, we've seen it last season. And I think this season is looking very similar yet again. So I like that consistency as well, right? The teams can really look to apply themselves as much as possible. And maybe, at the end of the day, trump the Vicious in the process.
Maybe the big babies can be the big babies also in the leaderboards. Ooh, who knows, it's going to be maybe happening. But one thing I really like about these tournaments, right, happening all the time, is that Romania, as we said, like, you're looking at Vicious mainly right here, DK, as like the big names from that country, from that region, to do well. But the thing is, I know that there's so much raw talent, untapped potential in Romania, right? So the more we have these seasons, right, maybe we're going to be a few years down the line, season 50, and we're going to have teams just destroying the Vicious, and they'll just be terrible. They'll be F tier, while the other squads will be S plus tier. So as we go on into this, I think that some of these names, we'll start to see them repeat in the leaderboards, in these elimination fragging like graphics every single time as like top performers. And maybe we'll be the top new stars to represent Romania on the global stage. So as we get going deeper and deeper in this event, DK, who knows, some players could be the clear standout for Romania.
I mean, that would be epic, right? I mean, I think it's good for the region as well to have a consistent kind of shift in that front as well. So, you know, we'll see how it goes and how it all pans out. And yeah, not quite sure what...
Sorry. I laughed at the word. I'm going through my very big guys, this is the rise of the region, so much untapped potential. It's like, epic, yeah. I don't know. It just took me out.
That's cool. But I mean, it's like it's like my epic segues that I do. So we just keep the consistency going. Epic, of course, is the completely wrong word to use in that instance, but it is what it is. So in the meantime, we are, of course, getting ourselves one step closer. I did hear production say something. I missed that completely.
Me too.
We were having so much fun out here on the desk. But yeah, it does sound, Max, that we are getting ready to hop into a little bit of excitement.
Yeah, as a certain Hot Jukes would say, cacao, as we fly through the skies right now of Rondo. Yeah, that's the Hot Jukes way of doing it. But it's going to be Rondo on the map here. We do only have a single plane path. But of course, Rondo is Rondo. We've got the recall, the extra life for every single one of the 64 players in the lobby. So we'll see a lot of potential madness happening in good old Neox, Yulin, maybe even Stadium if teams feel a little bit special here today with their drop location. But overall, we'll see how things are going. I only have one singular frame on my screen. I do not see anyone moving. But no, here we go. No players are moving about, so I can see where they're going now. And we do have a lot of teams concentrated in both Yulin and also Neox Factory here, DK.
I think that was actually a tactical choice, right? A very well-timed decision, because actually that gave us a pretty good chance to see exactly where the teams are going and what exactly they have to work with the flight path, right? Because usually we see the flight path and then a few seconds later, boom, it's gone, right? It's like a little bit of a teaser. Here, I think we actually had a good opportunity to kind of figure out exactly how the teams could look to get themselves distributed, especially now looking at that zone sitting over on towards the northeastern side. Test track, as to be expected, and of course Neox Factory, those are going to be the two main points of contention. But I'm looking a little bit further down towards the south there as well to see exactly how this could maybe look to pan out. And are we going to have some sweaty fights? I mean, Danching usually gets a little bit of love. Today we're not seeing that. Instead it is going to be Yulin, which will be pretty much focused on here. But it's going to be up to tough love, right? Starting us off.
Well, wait, you said Danching. I'm going to have to correct you. It's called Parkour City. Thank you very much, okay?
Yes.
Okay? Copyright by me, okay? Matchman, I call it that. But no, Danching also going to be a little bit of a focal point. Of course, he's got a recall tower and such. It's a really good location to head for. And if you know how the roofs work, you can create a really big position to kind of leverage in your favor. Though, looking at the elimination feed, really good stuff from Ozorox, it seems. Able to find himself 1 for Leon 4. Really good, especially the thing when every time you look at him, Leon, check out his utility. If he has grenades, this guy can just pop the hell off. Though, his teammate of Milas will get dropped on his knees in submission in the elimination feed. Not looking too good at the very start of this game, but it is Ozorox. Don't worry too much. They do have that recall tower available if needed. As RS now going to be going for a big sweeping motion. They were initially in the center of Yulin itself. Now going to go for a bit of a direct push to the eastern edge of the city itself. It's going to be straight onto EA7. There you go. Good fights happening left, right, and center. Though 2 players are going to be dropped down for RS. And Bad Boy looking to close that gap, making it forward. He's just rush. He's not scared whatsoever. He hears the gunshots, but he wants a piece of the pie here, DK. And he's in grenade range, looking to make it rain down on the competition.
I hope.
Oh no, okay.
I was about to say, I hope that pie is not a fresh pie, because that is going to be hot, right? I can speak from personal experience just a few minutes ago, but so far, doesn't seem the pie was too hot at all, right? Bad Boy, of course, now is going to be brought back onto their feet, and this is now the opportunity for that continuation to come in here. But I think this is an interesting position, especially looking at the compound. Quite a few decent angles to try and defend here. And now let's see, can they actually make this work?
We'll have to see. Thing is, Pumps where he currently is standing here. It's a very nadeable spot. Oh, good Molotov too. Going to be spreading onto setup. I think the follow-up nade, that's going to be a knock found by RS. Bad Boy looking to close the gap. He's getting involved in this conversation. Big sprays not connecting. Oh, finally, the final bullet will get the knock he was aiming for. Payusha, though, looking to try and sweep everyone right under that rug. With the Yorg, really good elimination confirmed, up to 5 so far for the entirety of Pump's team. So they're having an absolute field day, it seems, in Yulin itself. But look at the minimap. Big Baby's looking for a third party, but it will not stop the killing spree of Kayusha. He's up to 4 eliminations on his lonesome, but again, Big Baby looking to join the fray.
That's exactly what we need to see. We need to see that pacing. We need to see teams try to play the upset here. And for Big Baby, this could be a phenomenal approach. I like the wraparound angle that they're coming through on here. And especially with EXO up towards the north, I think this could be a good distraction while the rest of the squad moves in. We can see King And his teammate just trying to find that approach to take, looking for the moment to strike. And it could just be a few mere moments, and already the gunfights are going to start to unravel here. In the meantime, you can see on back also experiencing quite a bit of pressure elsewhere on the map.
I saw that nade coming out. Could have been good if it bounced against the ridge of the building, but not spotted out. Nice use of the JS9 by Stroes. That's going to be an instant knock onto setup. And also a really good plan from Big Baby. If you look at the map feed, they only have 3 players, meaning they do have a player set up at the recall tower if needed. Though they're going to send it one by one. That is a mistake you don't want to do against pumps. They will punish you if you do so. Don't want to disrespect this squad. If you're in the TETO Games finals here for Always on Romania, chances are these players are pretty damn good and will punish you if you disrespect them. Kayusha now going to be down to almost his final clip, but the nade is beautiful, right on the money. That's Exo, the man himself, claiming his life, claiming that 3rd point so far for the team. And even though Stress Shaw got eliminated, look at that on the top left side of your screen. He gets instantly recalled by their split teammate.
Yeah, I think that's always going to be an interesting factor to consider, is that the recall play coming through, right? It's not ended just yet, unless, of course, it's the entire screen, the entire team, rather, that gets taken out of here. But I think for Big Baby, this is a great opportunity, good bit of momentum that they're looking to build here. And already, they just need to keep applying that pressure. Just keep on contesting, because already with 3 eliminations up, things are looking pretty hopeful for them. In the meantime, though, the 404 error team, right? You don't want to see that error wherever you're working. And now it's going to be Snickers getting met with a bit of a spray down right here in Test Track. It's also still a very contested area here.
Yeah, quite spread up around, actually, when you look at this location. Usually people are more heavily focused on Factory of Neox. But no, this time is going to be spread between Neox itself, Test Track, and the little buildings in between Test Track and Neox Factory. So going to be a little bit hard to really pinpoint the exact location of every single player in this area. Oh, as things calming down just a little bit, right? You're looking at the map, and one's got a massive player spread, so they're looking to get as much insight as possible on this area, as the Molotov is going to be spreading up, and that is, what can you really do there? Not really much at that point. He's just going to be burnt up to a total crisp. There's going to be game over for him. RSC getting absolutely mowed down, and this is looking really bad for them, as there you go. Every single player almost taken out, and that's going to be Team Moldova off to a good start. Well, you know what? Good start would be an understatement here, DK. 7 eliminations on Rondo is an amazing start, and they're going to be super happy about that.
I mean, they are definitely laying quite a bit of foundation here for themselves, and I've got to say, like, you got to be pretty pleased with what they're doing so far. But now they just got to keep that head on a swivel, right? Keep on pushing. And again, keep on watching the angles. Meanwhile, for Vision here, that is exactly what Motion needs. They need to try and play with as much awareness as they can. But it does seem like Motion only has 1 teammate here, which is situated just a little bit further down below in the same building. But a lot of contention, and especially with that EMP zone being in play, it doesn't make things any easier, and the zone is shifting up. So this could be now that opportunity for quite a few teams to try and look and bounce back, right? We've seen it before where teams try and pull that recall from across the zone all the way on the other side, and that could maybe be the play here now for Motion.
Yeah, really good shot coming out from Dennis, actually. By the way, I do want to update the audience here. If you look at the right side of your screen, the leaderboards, there's written 0 eliminations everywhere. It will be fixed a little bit later on in this game, so just don't look at it, okay? And I promise you there were, in fact, eliminations, especially in Yulin. Just, it's a bit hidden now, okay? The secret points will come in eventually as Motion locked up in their tower. Rapunzel vibe right now. As one looking to slowly make their ascent with the utility. Nade's going to get chucked. Last second, possibly. No, actually going to get cancelled here. So going to try and hold on to that utility as error team. Ryuga. He's got a strong off angle. If anyone tries to wrap on the outskirt of that building, that could be an easy knock and flush confirmed. So do be careful. You have no friends here in Test Track. Ted himself, one of the legends of his squad. Looking to have a bit of a cheeky angle possibly on some of the players of one. As the nades come out, and that's a beautiful nade. CR7 GOAT finding Vision, and that's going to be looking to ring the bell of war as they make their push upstairs, looking to claim the lives of their enemies of Motion. But Motion still standing strong with the 4 potential players if they can get Vision back up on his 2 feet.
Let's see whether or not this is going to play out here for them. So far, it does seem like, Motion now tries to get the ball rolling. 1 knock is secured. Oh, Dennis just going to try and hold on, but it's going to be CR7 just rushing in the door. Kid now on full defensive. But unfortunately missing out the angle, and it all now turns over to Matic, who has to try and carry the name here for the squad. Fortunately though, looking at where Matic is, right, there is going to be that recall opportunity to bring the team back on their feet and maybe contest a little bit more. But hey, a very efficient cleanup that we saw just there.
Yeah, very well. I kind of always love the kind of disparity when you look at the POV of different players. You got the 3 players in a fight in test track, like, oh my god, we need to survive, get all the eliminations. You just have one guy just chilling, like, I'm just looting in Jadina City. And if you guys died, I got you. It's just the complete disparity in playstyle. The absolute, low cortisol and high cortisol kind of a difference between these players. That's going to be indeed a full reset. As you said, they do have that recall tower out on the outskirts northwest of Jadina City itself. So that's going to be the attempt for Motion to get themselves back up as a full roster. As over to now RS, they did get 3 eliminations, 2 of those for Bad Boy. They had a really good opening shot back in Yulin Hot Drop. And here, they're going to be controlling the northern eastern edge of the riverbank with the island in play in particular. So this is going to be a decent position to maybe shut down early team-wide rotations. So keep an eye out for them. This could be a little bit of an aggressive start if some teams do head in their direction, as they do see one in the distance, but they're fully set up in a compound here, DK. Not really worth for the crash unless you find a knock, even maybe 2 from a distance.
But this is that island just south of Jadina City, if I'm not mistaken, right?
No, this is northeast, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was about to say, if that's Jadina City, that's a very interesting position to go for. But as you've mentioned, yeah, the zone, of course, did move much further up on towards the northern side. We can see the Vicious also now starting to light up the feed as Doran and company, right? They are just going at it here. We've got Koa, Icy, as well as Narvalo also, all just trying to lock it down. Big Baby coming into contention up from that northwestern front line. And this is where things could get quite interesting. I believe that's Rain also now starting to move on in. So there is quite a bit of contention building here. So the Vicious, even though their name suggests quite a bit of a glorious performance, they still got to keep their heads on a swivel, right? Because there's so many angles to watch for.
Yeah, you got to be very cautious for sure. Any off angle can really just cause absolute demise. By the way, interesting to see Narvalo playing. I was checking the team kind of lineups for all of this tournament, and I didn't see Narvalo. I think I saw Redox playing, and he's not there. So he is indeed going to have Narvalo on board, which is going to be fun. See how my French homie will perform here in the Romanian Always On tournament for Season 2. This is going to be Axie looking for the push. Good push forward with the S12K. And that's going to be looking to claim an extra 5th elimination. But Axie is fully alone here, and he's even spotted out, meaning if he goes down, that's it, game over. And indeed, 404 Error Team will get fully eliminated in this game, out in 14th position. So sure, they get a few eliminations here and there, but it's just still not enough for a Rondo game.
Yeah, that was a very 6-7, 6-7 approach that we saw.
You did not just say that to me.
It's in the name. I'm literally reading what's written on the screen. And
oh yeah, it is. Wait, what? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna blame you though. You could have not read that. You did it. You ruined my day.
Yeah. It's very PC of me, right? So I just have to do it, right? It was there, I couldn't resist. But speaking about which though, it does seem like Team Rain are also gonna try and resist the temptation of engaging. What I really like about what we're seeing so far is it's a very tactful approach by quite a few of the squads, right? I mean, we have some teams that play reactively, other teams that play a lot more strategically, and it does seem like there's a lot more strategy out on the battlefield, and I really appreciate that coming from the teams. Now, of course, what is Rain going to do? Because they've got quite a bit of a spread here, Max. We can see GZ down on that southern side, Roby and Christian up towards the north, though. That is a very wide 2-1-1 split that they have. But fortunately, it works out, right? Christian on the edge of zone, and now the rest of the team can look to kind of file in and get themselves all positioned into this next phase.
I actually don't hate it. The reason why, just to break down the kind of terrain, is you got different plateaus at different levels of elevation, right? You got Christian high up north. He's on the highest potential peak of that area. Then you got Robbie, kind of like the transition player between the 2-1 split they have currently. And then 2 players on the southern compound, which is going to be their fort, their kind of defensive position. And normally, Christian and Robbie should be able to spot the 2 players down south. So if they do get in a bit of an altercation, they should be able to get, even if they can't fully join up and regroup, give some supportive firepower from a range. So it is a bit, original. You don't see it very often, but I think that was the game plan they were going for. But the circle does shift away, and they already have Christian. So as you can see on the mini-map, they're going to go for that quick regroup onto Christian's location. And Robbie should be the next to follow in their footsteps. So yeah, it's an interesting kind of playstyle, and you said it right, some teams trying to be very strategic. I think that's exactly what Rain are trying to achieve in this potential game here. But it's Rondo, so you can also just go, screw it, I want to go aggressive, and I'd be like, yeah, it's Rondo, so fair enough.
Yeah. I mean, I also like what we saw coming through there from Roscar, right? We didn't really talk about it all that much just yet, but they have full possession of the northern side of Zone. So that already looks like quite a bit of an interesting development for me on that front. And while the rest of the teams are going to be heavily contesting positions on the southern side, it is going to be the Vicious trying to lock it down on Valo, just jumping over vehicles as everything just comes flying in here.
What's happening? Icy to claim the victory here in this fight. Not sure what's going on. I don't even know who's shooting at who right now. They're just completely surrounded. You might want to try and get slightly away from that UAZ because Icy here, literally just a tickle and the man will fall. But Doran, also in a distance, is looking still in a healthy condition. They're going to pull that reset onto Koa and Novalo. And indeed, Koa is going to be back up on his 2 feet. He's going to be looking pretty comfy. Good use of smokes, but it's still not going to be enough. They're fully surrounded. 3 teams, if not maybe even 4 squads, look in their direction right now. It's just a relentless assault of bullets in their direction. Vicious, just really on the rough side of things, suffering the brunt of this engage. Up to 5 of them. Still not a terrible game, right? You got 12 teams still alive. That means you're not going to get any placement points until top 8. So they want to try and survive a little bit deeper, if possible. As we swap on over to the POV of Motion, that are indeed on this island here. DK looking to make a bit of a push forward. There's a decent ridge line to work with. The thing is, as you go there, you're going to be very predictable. Teams are going to know you're located there. So when you peek over the ridge line, it could be a very easy headshot. So Motion do need to keep that in mind.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely quite a difficult position for them potentially if they let go of this. But I like the kind of pacing that's coming in against the side of Vicious. Yes, they do have 8 eliminations up, but I think the only realistic way for the teams here to compete against the kind of pacing that the Vicious has been showing not only so far in this match, but also back in the first season, is you gotta have to hit them really hard as quickly and as early on as you can, right? Because if you give them the slightest opportunity, you are gonna not even live to regret that, right? You will just look at the scoreboard and go like, oh, yep, there they go again. And speaking about which, look at Ozrox coming through with a few vehicle plays. Team Moldova, the lockdown center zone, a very admirable position here.
Also able to defend it, right? You can see here there's a loot crate. A death crate. If it was a loot crate, maybe there'll be an MG3. No, there's going to be a death crate up there. So that means they were able to defend it nicely enough. But Vicious, as you said, they were able to get the full reset. You give them an inch, they will take a mile. And that's exactly what they've done in a previous altercation. As Ked, though, left stranded on the lower side of the bridge. The nade could be good from Koa. But Ked will go for the high ground instead. The spray is there. Gets some significant damage onto Ked. But he's still surviving. The true survivor here for Motion. But unfortunately, he will get picked off. Meaning Vicious will go for the full-on assault on the lower side of the bridge. And Vicious taking another soul alongside them here for this game. So Rondo really, the map that Vicious can create a massive lead. And so far they are #1 with 10 eliminations to their name.
Yeah, and of course we still have 10 teams in this lobby. So there is a big opportunity for them to try and increase that even more so. But this is now where things start to become a little bit more challenging because we got so many more squads starting to surround the position that Vicious find themselves in. You can see quite a bit of an angle being held over on towards that far western front as well as the 420 Chime is going to be looking to, well, chime in here and secure their 3rd elimination. I think this is actually a very decent position, right? There's not too much congestion here. They can actually look to strategize and figure out what is going to be the next best play to move forward.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of options here for the central teams like Moldova in particular. You just want to try and defend your location as much as possible. But for the edge teams, it's going to be a bit... How does he not go down? Oh my goodness, Stress! Jumping in the vehicle, dodging the incoming damage from that grenade. And just clapping right back into the face of Christian. Oh my goodness, insane movement tech from this player. Big baby doing big plays. So now it's going to be over to Mitsa. Also got a bit of a utility of his own. Good nade damage there, actually. And that's going to be Big Baby not actually snatched away by Caesar from one. So that's not going to be secured by the opposing team whatsoever. As Royal, the nade is going to be a post-mortem knock. No, it will not. Oh, CR7 able to tank that one. Steal some good points. 8 so far. Here, DK looking to make it a big double-digit elimination game.
Yeah, one tap Romania. That's all they need. Is CR7 chose the right affix for his name there, GOAT, because that is what he's being right now.
I think he likes a certain football player.
Absolute legend. Yeah, I mean, it's looking absolutely phenomenal. There's nothing to fault on this front so far. So let's see, can they keep the same kind of pacing up? I mean, it has quieted down quite a bit over on towards the southern side, so I think this would allow them a really good reset opportunity. But for the time being, they got to keep that tension up, because you can see the other one is moving up as well.
Yep. The other... I was like, who's the other one? Be specific. It's literally the other team called one. It's just... DK, who? Who are we talking about? But it's literally them. And they're pushing up indeed, as you said, looking to just encroach on their terrain. Looking to divide and conquer onto, well, the other one. Oh, that's gonna be confusing. As actually still Mitza from Rain is going to be lingering in the shadows. Looking to hopefully be forgotten about, but no, that's not going to be the case. One tap Romania will indeed look to claim that point as their own. Good nade, actually, able to put CR7 back into a world of hurt as Vicious do get fully eliminated. That is going to be it. Their reign of terror here, DK, has fully ended, and it's still going to be an 11 elimination match with 1 placement point.
Yeah, but so does Ozrox. Also have 11 eliminations. So I like this contention that Ozrox is bringing onto the battlefield. A little bit of that MG3 spray coming in as well. So I like the pressure. The other team, of course, the other team called One is One for All. So it's almost like the Three Musketeers, but instead it's just one.
No, it's a reference, I think, to My Hero Academia, I think. MHA.
There we go.
It's an anime. So.
Yes, we'll take that one, right? Because
yeah,
sure, we'll go with that. We'll go with that. We still have 20 players left across the battlefield here, Max. 7 teams alive. I think for Ozrox, this is really a phenomenal opportunity for them to make quite a bit of a statement in the first game. Yes, it is Rondo. We do expect teams to really run away with those elimination counts, but this sets them up beautifully for the rest of the day.
I mean, it's exceptionally strong if you can create a lead for yourself on Rondo, right? Because you only have 2 Rondos per day. Oh, well, 1 Rondo per day, 2 for the entirety of these finals for the always-on Romanian side of things. And if you can create a lead on that one, it's going to be really hard to close the gap on Erangel and Miramar because you don't have those potential inflated elimination points with the recall system. So, as you said, this would be a golden opportunity for Ozrox to strike gold and maybe take it to the bank. As Leon 44 again, the nade master on this roster. Looking to play a bit more of a supportive role. He's just going to be looking to defend the ridgeline as his teammates look to encroach on the terrain of RS. They are going to make their way slowly but surely in good old grenade range. And sure, you do have a cover flare, but 1 good placed grenade, and that just completely could fall apart. As actually, no, it's not even that. He's just going to get sprayed on down. It's going to be Peaky with the knock onto Seko. As now they've got to start thinking 420. Do they go for a quick little repositioning and move away outside of grenade range? Or no, he's going to try and stick the res, which I would not recommend. How is he alive? Oh, the wheel just saved them, it seems. So 420. I don't know how, DK, but have a second chance at life.
Hey, there's a lot of wheeling and dealing happening over on the corner there, but now it's going to be the push coming through here. Seko still having to just hold on, but unfortunately, Blue has other intentions in mind. Seko got to follow in closely, but now it's up to nobody. Can they get the job done? Well, Blue does the job, comes through with a phenomenal spray with that MG3, and this is now the opportunity for Ozrox to really kick up the pacing, because again now, right, they've turned the zone in their favor. They possess control of the north. This is their match now to try and dominate.
Yeah, they are Jon Snow. They are indeed kings of the north right now. But no dragons in this game, just a few good weapons, and especially one MG3 in the hands of Blue that was seen red earlier, so really, really good engage with that one. But the MG3, man, the 3 eliminations looking clean indeed. And still keeping Leon in an alpha angle position right up north, which is really good just to kind of scope the entire southern area for themselves. Get a bit of insight of where teams are located. And Team Moldova, given literally a golden circle, they still have a full roster, if I'm not mistaken, right? So actually, wait, maybe not 1, 2, no, 3 players still up and ready to go. Ozrox still have themselves a 3-man team, and 1 have a 4-man squad. So that man advantage really could be enough to turn the tides in their favor. Caesar's got a good rooftop angle that is in circle, so he can stay there for a little bit longer if he really, really wants to commit to it.
Well, let's see whether or not Caesar can seize the moment, as there are going to be quite a few of those now looking to roll on in. I like the spread that we have here, especially looking at how Team Moldova is set up, right? You were speaking about them just a few moments ago, so I'm curious as to whether or not they can actually find the opportunity to capitalize on their location. In the meantime, the rest of the squads are going to start to push a little bit closer, as we are just about a minute away from seeing where stage number 8 is going to be taking us. But I think Ozrox here is going to be the team to try and beat, right? They are just looking absolutely phenomenal. They know that there's nobody behind them, so they can focus all their efforts purely just ahead of them. And you already said it, that off-angle position coming through from Leon, I think that is going to be the ticket.
I think so. I would have to agree. I think that he is just providing so much valuable insight on this zone for his 2 squad mates of Melaz and Blue that could be enough to actually convert this game into an actual proper Rondo chicken dinner with high eliminations too, because they've been definitely kind of turning up to 11 on the very first game. We'll see, as we do have EA7, or I think it's pronounced EAT. Maybe the 7 is supposed to be a T. As a solo, looking to maybe snatch away a podium finish, because no one's really looking his direction. So if he has a good amount of resources to just kind of maybe even tank the blue if he really needs to, Kayusha could make it relatively far. So I also believe, if I'm not mistaken, Kayusha was on a bit of a killing spree earlier. He had a really good start in terms of eliminations. So he could also maybe look to clutch things up for himself. As Leon, finally we do see his POV. And he doesn't have a great position, actually, DK. Genuinely, looking at his spot, he is not in circle. His tree is going to be 9 meters away from the play zone. He's got 5 smokes, though. If he places them right, he could block out the entire vision of Team Moldova and allow his teammates to make that push and crash this compound.
Yep, that could definitely to try and utilize here. Let's see whether or not they are going to be able to smoke road deployed. Because the way that's in, right? How are they going to look to rotate? Because they've been so active. The team pretty good idea as to where to find, and especially with Moldova so close to them. It's not going to be an easy get a good secure.
Yeah.
And now in addition, of course, we got the players there from One for All sneaking up inside. So Moldova was in a very sandwich very soon.
It's going to be a bit tricky, right? Because you've been here for the longest time. It's also not a very easy compound. It's so open. So here we go. It's going to be sending it all together. So this compound will be the first player. Good connection from Retro with the S12K. He still has a grenade. He could chuck it over the window. A bit too slow. And actually going to be here in this one singular building. The nade is not going to be chucked in time. There'll be a 1-for-1 trade. Moldova to duo the entire setup apart in a matter of seconds. The nade 1-on-1 trade. Will it be enough to take the winning for Cal? Oh, he goes on the assault, looking to claim every with the S12K. He gets a 2. Looking for the and he will get for the 1v3. Moldova looking good for the first game.
The same play going through there. Unfortunately, they get put on down. Ozrox sneak, very opportune spray. At least just end there, but now the final showdown going up against Ozrox. The final showdown to playoff here, Max, and there could even be an opportunity for somehow, maybe, Moldova to bounce back and stealing this from the hands of Ozrox.
Oh, there's a chance. There's an opportunity, and Foots will not be in this game anymore. It's down to just Retro and Pudding. Here, grenades, the relentless assault. Is it Ozrox looking to claim? And I said it, Leon with a grenade. Just 2 in. And the second bounce is there. No shots need to be. It will be Ozrox to claim our first chicken dinner of the year. On though.
What a statement. What a play being made. Absolute insanity. But a big shout out to Moldova on what they lost. But Chaos, just an insane performance, bringing the excitement all the way to the end. But mad respect going out to Ozrox. They went hard in this game to secure themselves those 8 eliminations.
Yeah, it was very impressive. I mean, Chaos with the S12K. Look, I shotgun nerf of 4.4 is going to come to the esports rooms very soon. Okay, no, actually, because this is not a proper like esports room, like your A tier or events, right? Actually, with the shotgun nerf in play, and if that, so the bloom has been increased, even more was able to come out on top. So really good stuff from Cap. I feel like the Team Moldova chicken dinner here, DK, because as you mentioned, this kind of sandwich position where two teams in time will look to your terrain, and even then, I think they did really well. Sure, the chicken dinner, but it was still a very impressive showcase of what they. Massive W in my eyes for that squad.
Yeah, but that's the kind of consistency I think you're coming in onto here, right? I mean, even if you have a beautiful position, that doesn't mean all matches yet. It goes down to what you can do those angles. Can you defend it and hold on? I mean, unfortunately, as we know, with the Tucks pushing for you, it's not that easy. They did an absolutely phenomenal job.
Yeah, I would agree. Absolutely fantastic. Them also one for right that they didn't have free game gifted to them, unlike Team Moldova that didn't really have to. Well, in the game it feels like they wrote they be entirety of that match, but no, we did see one for all just kind of going in that swing down south and looking to go for high grounds, low grounds, and there's rotational aspect of the game for me was like a 10 out of 10. They knew how to make those rotations in the rough terrain of Rondo itself. And aggressive podium finish. Well played indeed. Unfortunately, in that case, the S12K of Chaos was a little strong for them to deal with, but it does happen. It's a shotgun, so you're going to get clutched up sometimes.
Yeah, clutch up is going to happen. But speaking about clutch, though, they ripped on 3 eliminations going their way. Quite a bit of a statement. And, I mean, they're curious to see what they were for the rest of the day, right? The Vicious. Are they going to allow Ozrox to do this, right? Will they allow them to walk 28 points? Will they allow 16-point gap? What's it going to take before that one's going to close up? Because Vicious, 11 points, that is pretty dang aggressive alongside with Xavier as well.
Yeah, I mean, when you get 12 points, but 11 points are pure eliminations, that's a bit impressive, right? Looking at the Vicious. But what we have come to expect from this roster ever since Season 1 of Always On Romania Edition, and they're doing it again here. Do we see the team that takes down the Vicious, which is Ozrox, actually the team to convert this game into an actual chicken dinner with almost a 20 elimination bomb here from the get-go. So Ozrox looking good, looking contenders maybe of these finals with good old the Vicious. But also, got to give the flowers, some flowers over to one for us Team Moldova, able to get himself some really strong double-digit games, even Mania, right? So, so far, our 6 is incredible and very, very competitive.
It doesn't even stop everyone towards that right-hand side. You went back, you got 404, you got a Rosecar, all walking away with decent amounts. Big Baby right there alongside them as well. But if Baby is looking to improve on the performance that we saw come from them in the previous season, eliminations, they're going to have to add placement points as well. So at least they still have 4 today to try and kind of make.
Yeah, well, as you said, DK, we do indeed have 4 more matches left for Always On Romania season number 2. So if you guys want to check them out, stick around. We'll be back right after this break.
The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games Always On. The game never stops.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü?
Gördüm. Al ve son yakışmaz mı?
Gördüm beyler, al ve son yakışmaz mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi gel. Abi şimdi
Ben sev...
TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi neredeyse başka geçiyorum.
Gidiyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz hala.
TETO Games aynı. Armen'in aldı dur.
Abi çekiyorum ben de bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here, because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü?
Gördüm. Al ve sana yakışmaz mı? Gördüm beyler. Al ve sana yakışmaz mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi gel. Abi şimdi
Ben sev.
TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi neredesin? Başka hiç yok.
Tamam. Gidiyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz hala.
TETO Games aynı.
Anneni de aldın dur.
Ben çekiyorum ben de bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here, because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü?
Gördüm. Al ve sana yakışmaz mı? Gördüm beyler. Al ve sana yakışmaz mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi gel. Abi şimdi
Ben sev.
TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi neredesin? Başka hiç yok.
Tamam. Gidiyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz hala.
TETO Games aynı.
anneni de aldın dur.
Ben çekiyorum ben de bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here, because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü?
Gördüm. Al ve sana yakışmaz mı? Gördüm beyler. Al ve sana yakışmaz mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi gel. Abi şimdi
Ben sev.
TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi neredesin? Başka hiç yok.
Tamam. Gidiyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz hala.
TETO Games aynı.
anneni de aldın dur.
Ben çekiyorum ben de bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü?
Gördüm. Al ve son yakışmaz mı? Gördüm beyler. Al ve son yakışmaz mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi gel. Abi şimdi
Ben sev...
TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi neredesin? Başka geçiyorum.
Tamam. Gidiyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz hala.
TETO Games aynı.
Abi ben çekemem ben de bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü?
gördüm. Al ve son yakışmaz mı? Gördüm beyler. Al ve son yakışmaz mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi gel. Abi şimdi
Ben sev...
TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi neredesin? Başka geçiyorum.
Tamam. Gidiyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz hala.
TETO Games aynı.
Abi ben çekemem ben de bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü?
gördüm. Al ve son yakışmaz mı? Gördüm beyler. Al ve son yakışmaz mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi gel. Abi şimdi
Ben sev...
TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi neredesin? Başka geçiyorum.
Tamam. Gidiyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz hala.
TETO Games aynı.
Abi ben çekemem ben de bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü?
Gördüm. Al ve son yakışmaz mı? Gördüm beyler. Al ve son yakışmaz mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi gel. Abi şimdi
Ben sev.
TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi Mardin'sin başka geçirmeyeceğim.
Tamam. Biliyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz hala.
TETO Games aynı.
Ahmet'i de aldım dur.
Abi çekiyorum ben de bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü?
Gördüm. Al ve son yakışmaz mı? Gördüm beyler. Al ve son yakışmaz mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi gel. Abi şimdi
Ben sev.
TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi Mardin'sin başka geçirmeyeceğim.
Tamam. Biliyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz hala.
TETO Games aynı.
Ahmet'i de aldım dur.
Abi çekiyorum ben de bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents
Rondo is done and dusted here for day one of the Always On Romania Season 2 tournament, and we still have 4 more matches to go. 2 Erangels and 2 Miramars. That's going to be on the menu for today, as we are back here, DK, for no potential strong games for our top squads to try and lengthen that lead between themselves and Vicious. That I feel like the storyline is the Vicious is the villain, and everyone's going to try and take them down because they're looked at like favorably by everyone. So it would be cool to see a bit of an underdog story in this event.
It definitely would, and I mean, I think Game 2 is especially going to be the big decider to see whether or not the lobby is going to try and change things up. Because last season, this was the exact point where the Vicious stepped up, right? This is where they kind of just unleashed the beast and lived up to their name. So I want to see, right? Is it all going to change now, or is it going to go in a completely different way? Only time will tell, but I think Erangel is going to be the opportune map, rather, for these teams to really kind of lock in and really start pushing those points.
Exactly. I mean, Erangel is going to be the best one to make it happen because we're going to have 2 of those maps back to back. Though, looking at the leaderboards again, just to kind of set the stage as we go into our second match of today, Ozrox, Team Moldova, and Pumps Team are currently our lobby leaders here on the podium with 28, 18, and 14 points a pop, followed up by them One for All with 13, Vicious 12, and then One Tap Romania 10 of themselves. So, right, as I said earlier before the break, top 6 are looking like the big heavy hitters so far, especially in terms of eliminations, right? You got 9, 11, 9, 9, 12, 18. So those are really, really big numbers when you really, really think about it. But of course, it is Rondo, so it is gonna drop quite a bit here on the grassy pastures and also the dusty dunes later on Miramar. But Vicious here, they do have a 16-point gap, which we know, DK, for Vicious, they have that for breakfast sometimes. So I think they're going to come out seeing red in this game, looking to take down the Ox at the top.
Yeah, I definitely expect a little bit of a bounce back play coming through from them. I mean, again, things not looking all too different from the exact same odds they were facing in the previous season. So this is absolutely doable for them. It's all going to come down to just how vicious they are going to be looking to be out on the battlefield here. But I think overall things are going to be a bit of a contentious play, right? The top six, that is what you want to play for. You want to be where One Tap Romania is at the very least, because that's how far the prize pool extends, right? So for the teams behind them, there is still a big and easy opportunity for essentially everybody else to try and catch up. All the way from 420 down to 4RS family. Anyone can secure the required amount of points coming into game number next. But I think as we progress throughout the day, once we wrap up all the Erangels, once we move into Miramar, that is where things are going to be a little bit more challenging. So if Big Baby want to bounce back, I think Erangel could be their ticket.
Yeah, I mean, the later on we get in the tournament, it's going to get way harder to really close that gap if a significant lead has been created by that point. But by the way, kind of also to set the stage in terms of the overall format of this tournament, for those who are maybe new to watching these always-on tournaments, already welcome to you. Hopefully you're enjoying the show. But prize pool is only distributed between the top 6 teams, which is going to go from 600 euros down to 400, 300, 250, 150, and then 100 euros in 6th position. And then if you are below top 6, you get nothing. You'll have to re-qualify for season number 3 and hopefully get some more money on the board that time around. So yeah, top 6, even if you can't really compete realistically here, DK, for that championship title, for the first place, for the golden medal, there's still some extra money to be secured here, so you should never give up until the very, very end of this grand finals.
Yeah, because that could be your ticket. That could be your opportunity to land yourself in that sweet, sweet spot. And so, curious to see who's going to look to ramp it up. I'm just looking back at the scores that we had in the previous season. And my statement about Big Baby was absolutely true, because game 2 and 3 last season, that's when they bounced back, right? That's when they also really started flying up those rankings. So I want to see if the teams are going to look to repeat that, or if there is going to be a big old change coming through on that front. I'm really for big change, right? I like that. The upsets being played, right? Teams that we never thought would maybe look to contest doing exactly that. So that's what I'm going to be keeping my eyes on, right? Looking to see who's going to look to play upsets here today.
By the way, for everyone at home right now watching this little break session before we do dive into match number 2, you might be like, DK, that's so insightful what you're saying. All this stats, all this previous information, all this historical data of season 1. Where do you get all that? Well, you know what? It is brought to you by TETO Games. You can head on over right to tetogames.com and you have all the data from this tournament. The future tournaments are going to be happening very soon. Like next week, if I'm not mistaken, we have the Polish edition, right, DK, going to be happening, brought to you by yourself and Niptura. And if you want to check out stats of season 1, it is still available, and that's exactly what DK was mentioning right there. So, of course, thank you for TETO Games for organizing all of this tournament in the first place. It wouldn't be possible without them. And if you do get involved in the esports scene yourself, TETO Games is definitely your place to check out all of your personal stats. As we get slowly but surely ready here, DK, for our second game, as we said, Erangel kind of set the stage ready in terms of everything we really want to for our second match. Any predictions you might want to go for here? Any teams that you're not really expecting to get the win, but you would like to see get a chicken dinner on this game?
Ooh, all right. So for that one, I would definitely have to go for 420. 420 Chimey, right? Chimmy. 420 Chimmy by RS. It's either Chimmy, Chimey, whichever way, it's time to bring it in, and we'll see if they can step it up. And yourself, Bax, who do you think could be looking to get their hands on a juicy chicken?
Well, I'm going to say it's the Big Baby. It's the Big Baby chicken dinner waiting to happen. That is going to be my pick for this game. But of course, Vicious might have something to say about that. Playing path high up in the sky. It's going to go from shooting range area down to military base. Good for these teams. It's going to be somewhat fair to a majority of these squads. So no complaints allowed. So we do have, of course, hot drops I'm expecting. We could have a few because it is the first Erangel. Hopefully they'll try and just iron out those mistakes, kink out those issues later on. As outside of that, I'm also looking at one big thing, DK. If you know me, you know that I love the loot truck. And you've got a few locations such as Pachinki, Severny, Yaznai Poliana, and also military base that do allow you to get very early spawns for the loot truck. So we'll see if anyone's going to look to use that to its full potential in this match.
Yeah, that'd be great. And of course, you know, that's the pro strat to try and go for, You know, just upgrading your loot almost automatically right at the start of the day. And speaking about which, though, we are going to be starting off with a very centralized play up towards Rozhok, Yasnaya, Polyana, and the teams, especially Vicious, they're going to be feeling quite happy with this.
Ooh, got to be a little bit careful, actually. You can see that they are slightly split. Besides Team Moldova, they have one player that's literally, you can see on the map, he's just racing right between the players of Vicious. He will take a quick right turn to avoid them and go onto the bridge next to Garden east of Rozhok. But ooh, that could have been a way better turn of events if you did get a little bit too close to Vicious that do not like having neighbors. I do know that as a fact, that they do not like having teams in a close vicinity around them. The circle, though, we did see phase 1 pop, and it is going to be centered up on the Yasnaya Lake area, you could realistically say. So a lot of teams here are going to be already set up for success in this zone. Outside of this, Vicious seems like they want to take up the entirety of Yasnaya Polyana. That is going to be their terrain, their empire that they're looking to build up. But 3 teams are actually located in Yasnaya Polyana. I'm really surprised this is happening. So Yasnaya hot drop between 3 teams, DK. Seems like that is exactly what we have on the menu for Game 2.
Yeah, we'll take a hot drop. That is going to be quite exciting and... well, I want to see a little bit of chaos, a little bit of carnage. Unfortunately, this is not Rondo, so there's no revive. So you have to be really careful with how you take these engagements. But let's see who is going to look to crack this can wide open. Who will be the first ones to try and push through? Not only in Yasnaya that we have the action, also as we saw over on the side there of South George. So beautiful setups here. But I think South George, the teams are a little bit more spread out. So, you know, I think Yasnaya could be our first contender.
Could be. Could get slicey and dicey for these teams. As otherwise, outside of this, seems like we're off to a pretty chill start. Of course, it is not Rondo. We're not going to see any Rondo-esque hot drops happening here because we do not have the recall towers. So teams just looking to set up their looting stage, get the vehicles under control, maybe, who knows, get the loot trucks under your belt, get yourself a cheeky MG3, P90, etc., etc. Could be looking really strong. And we saw the MG3 too, right, last game, DK, just being such a dominant weapon in the hands of Ozorox. So if they can try and find themselves another one, that could definitely put them on a path of success here in the Always On finals for Romania. As good nade from Caesar, we'll be able to find a player from CH. Not flushed out just yet, but it could be happening very soon, as that is indeed the fight happening in Yasnaya Polyana.
Oh, here we go. Now it is going to be Chaos. I mean, who showed off quite a bit of that skill in game number first. Now being presented with yet another opportunity. The shots coming through. Chaos is going to try and bring the team back into the fight, while the rest of One For All are going to full on descend here, Max. This is not the kind of approach that you want, and we've been mentioning Vicious as well. You can see them starting to circle about. This could be a very short-lived engagement for One For All and Team Moldova potentially.
I was going to say this fight does not matter because we all know Vicious is going to come out on top. look, they're just like vultures. They're just running around the area high in the sky, and they're just going to dive on this location when everyone's going to be at their weakest. Look at that, for example, looking at Team Moldova, down to 1 player, right? Hopefully they'll be able to crawl their way back up the staircase and he will get a double reset. But Vicious are now in the area. They are now almost in the building itself. And it's just going to be 1 player also on the other squad, so looking good for Vicious so far. They're looking to pull that first time trigger in that fight. It's now over to the western side of Erangel. It's going to be One Tap Romania. A bigger name in the last game. High eliminations. Of course, here on Erangel, though, not going to have a similar kind of tune. As they get dropped to like flies. Down to just a solo player is going to be CR7 Goat. Up against the entire squad. It's going to be Messy Esport looking to take him down. But yeah, One Tap Romania here, DK. Not the start they were hoping for in the grassy pastures.
Yep, it's a little bit of a bumpy ride, but you know what? Sometimes you got to hit those bumpy rides to smooth it all out a little bit further down the line. Koa, though, a beautiful hit coming through with that S12K. It looks almost like there was no nerf on the shotties whatsoever, Max. So the players are just very consistent with it, right? It's like they refuse to let go of those shotties, and you know what? I like it, but look at the sprays, though. Vicious getting put back on their feet as the shots just rain on end. But of course, Vicious being able to close that one out. Already 6 eliminations, and we are 6 minutes into this game.
Yeah, I'm actually a little bit surprised about that. I thought that most of the eliminations would be flushed out between the 2 teams that were initially clashing in this apartment complex. But no, actually, Vicious were able to get actually a squad wipe and a half on that third party. So really good involvement for them. And it's really odd, but I think Vicious we're just looking to loot Yasnaya Polyana and chill over there, but then you have two teams actively clashing inside Yaz. They just say to themselves, that's the easiest third party in the world. So hell yeah, we'll take 6 free eliminations at the start. It feels like Rondo as Big Baby. One player is going to be Stroes. That had a really good clutch up earlier. That movement tech in the vehicle. Looking to do something similar with the S12K. Good pickup. Unfortunately, slightly... Well, you know what? Slightly. Very overwhelmed, I would even go to say, by RS. As that's going to be no trade-off. That's going to be one player out for the count. And one easy elimination headed the way of RS.
Yeah, but I like this kind of basic coming through here from RS, right? The Oscar looking to just kind of, I don't know, set a bit of a stage here for themselves, right? I mean, they've all fought through the semifinals to make it up to this point, so I want to see momentum being the name of the game here. And, of course, our Inviter squad's doing what we know they can do exceptionally well. But at least for Vicious now, they've got the entirety of Yasnaya Polyana for themselves, right? Zone is going to close up in a minute or so. And that gives the rest of the lobby the opportunity to get themselves situated much, much closer. It is going to be overlaid now, pushing right onto the front line. But Tough Love coming through with a phenomenal spray. King, though, reaching in from the side. Just reminding that sometimes Tough Love needs a little bit of that tough love as well.
Well, that's going to be the tough one tap. It's coming his way. Good shots onto King. Not converted just yet. King going to have to try and scurry away. Back in his supercar. Going to definitely get a bit scratched after that altercation. But RS looking to go on the chase, it seems. They want to try and get some vengeance for Tough Love. But he's still up, so they can try and go for the res. Bad Boy actually will be making it to Tough Love. As the two other players looking to chase down King. But they will give it up. Not worth chasing until the edge of the map. It's not worth it at this point in time. So they'll just looking to regroup with their teammates. And Tough Love indeed should be brought back to life in this match. But a little bit of a risky start. But you know what? RS off to a good kickoff here on Erangel.
Yeah, that is going to sit quite well for them. Of course, as we know, previous game, they were able to secure themselves a few points in that as well. So, I mean, 5 eliminations in game number first, right? 5 points to what they were able to back. They are really close to hitting that yet again. And so I like the same kind of consistency coming through on their end. But the big thing that I'm curious about here for RS is how are they going to look to get themselves situated, right? We do see RSC also rolling in alongside them here. So there might be a little bit of that pressure, but it does seem like RSC, they are going to be opting to push much further into the zone. Looking for that center setup. Bumps, though, they are not anywhere close to that as they just gain entry onto the edge of zone. And RS just lighting it up here.
Yeah, that's going to be a bit tricky here. Pump's got to keep on dashing forward. Don't want to get caught off guard with your pants down. So they will get chased a little bit, but I think it's really just a way to scare them off. As we're looking at Pump's team, looking to take this hilltop location, there's going to be RSC, and they hear it, they get the audio cue, and decide to go in a completely different direction. So really good awareness. Not worth committing to a fight that's just really going to cause your demise in the end. Could have been a really good position. You see that RSC's mountaintop indeed are really comfortably in the circle. So they wish they could have had that location, but unfortunately, the circle gods have different plans in mind for them. As it is going to be then on the eastern side of Rozok on Garden, which for RS are going to look also very good in this potential circle here. Outside of that, a lot of teams, DK, still deep out in the blue, such as Rain. Up north, you got 3 teams here looking to make a quick exit outside of George Pole area. Teams got to try and speed up the rotation, because otherwise, upon Circle 3, things are going to get really hectic if you are a late rotating team.
Yeah, and especially on Broken, they can't really afford to spend too much time outside of scoring points, right? They want to try and get themselves right there in the safe zone where they can focus on defending, focus on that strategy, and, well, hopefully secure themselves a few additional things with regards to those scoreboards. But now it's going to be time just for everybody to kind of roll up. We can see players here from Pump's team just looking for a situation or an angle to call home. It does seem like they might be opting for this very edge here of the school region. Again, not the worst setup that they could go for here, but I want to see how that is going to translate over onto the rest of the teams. Meanwhile, Bad Boy going to be feeling a little bit of pressure here as Belas spots out the angle, but a very interesting kind of rotational pathway coming through here for Ozorox.
Definitely going to be a wide southern rotate here to the western edge. Get onto Potato Hill. Got to be careful. They could be going on to the side of EA7, right? The team Pumps you were talking about earlier. That will be in that spot. So as long as they do their due diligence and scout when doing that rotation, they should be good to go. Now, here you go. We do see on the right side of your screen the current leaderboards. No eliminations have been counted. Oh, there you go. The eliminations have now been added to the rankings. And Ozarok still looking strong up there in first position, 28 points. But the gap has been closed significantly. It was 16 points needed earlier. Now it's only 10 points needed for Vicious to climb up into first place. So again, the race is on. Vicious mean business.
Yeah, they are hungry. They are eager. Let's see if they can get it for the time being out on the field here, just trying to kind of farm the whole position of squads rotating on through. I think especially with King just situated there alongside them, it's not going to pose any major threats though, but it is going to be Seko and the rest of the squad over on that western front rather, trying to adopt a bit of a different angle, right? Looking to play a little bit safer, don't want to risk it all just yet. Ozrox though, I think they are playing, they're giving me very, very much the Vicious vibes here, right? If you leave them too long, they're going to set up, and it is going to be quite the force to be reckoned with.
I would say they strike me as more of a macro-oriented Vicious, right? They're not they're not going to crash on you if there's no reason to. Vicious, if they get even just a knock on you, chances are they're just going to get in their vehicles and just send it on your location. No, I think Ozrox is definitely more focused on if we can gain something of a fight, we'll go for it. If not, if we don't get crazy good value for a clash, we're just going to avoid the altercation altogether. So I think that is definitely the Ozrox way. Really good IGLing for this team. So now things calming down. So most of the squads did indeed get in the play zone. We're still waiting for such as Team Rain and RS on the eastern side, and even Pumps to the west in Rozhok itself. But outside of that, all the good locations are currently occupied by our rosters. Our 12 teams still scurrying about on this map. So crashes should be coming up in the very, very near future on this match.
Yep, there's quite a bit of scurrying indeed happening across the board. I like here what the Zeptorix is doing, kind of just trying to command a little bit of presence all the way from the compound, but it is going to be Ozrox looking to make it quite difficult for them, and they have Vicious on the northern side. Not the best kind of sandwich to get at this point. Let's see whether or not Zero and the rest of the team can actually survive. A nice little bit of a cheeky spray over onto the far edges there, as Roskar is going to try and get themselves resituated, moving still on the edge of Zorn, and they seem to not be too committed to really leaving that edge, right? Trying to ride the storm as best they can, looking for any potential pickups along the way.
I like what Ozarok's doing here, trying to get a bit of that high ground position down south under control. Good just for scouting in general, so you can get a bit of insight of where teams are located. And if you are getting pushed outside of the play zone, you'll have a good idea of where teams are located, so you can just commit to the best crash, which will reward you the most if you do come out successful. As Unbroken, Romania, also up north, they try to go for a wide northern rotation, similar to Rain actually, and also Pumps. Actually, there's 4 teams that did go for a wide northern rotation. The Circle, I think, had a different plan in mind. As you can see on the minimap, it is nowhere near this area. It's actually 300 meters away from Unbroken Romania. So they got to go for a bit of a quick dash here towards Yasnaya, because it's going to be in the field southwest of Yasnaya Polyana. So if you're north of the river or the lake, right now you are going to be in a bit of a world of hurt, and you need to be quick on that pivot. Otherwise, the blue zone might just claim your entire squad.
Well, I think this is where Rain has got a really good setup, right? Going for that 2-2 split, 2 players on the northern side of the lake, the other 2 back in Yasnaya itself. So if anybody was to try and rotate along that side, it is going to be a very easy pickup for them, as we can see. Unbroken also now having quite a bit of difficulty finding a good secure angle to try and approach from, but there's still so much happening on the edges of Zone. I mean, I'm not quite sure how things are really going to pan out for those Western squads.
Not great. This is my potential prediction. Things are looking a bit risky. It's actually looking at Unbroken Romania. Did actually survive as a solo, but you got to be careful because a lot of positions, as I said earlier, actually in this game, are occupied. So you're going to have to crash it or just hope to survive in a bush somewhere. It's gas station, still a strong position in this circle. It's going to be for 420. Looking to kind of push back onto Big Baby, right? King, the player that was able to actually escape with his life just a few minutes ago at the very kickoff of this match. He's just going to become the Bridge Goblin waiting in the shadows for his time to strike, maybe on a potential third party of Vicious versus 420. As Vicious doing the typical Vicious play, which is a massively overconfident 2-1-1 split, DK. I know this is a lobby where it's more comfortable, right? It's not your typical S-tier lobby. But that 2-1-1 split is just pure disrespect, in my opinion. And because it's Vicious, it might actually work out.
Yeah. I mean, they do have the confidence to try and pull off a maneuver like that. So let's see how that one pans out for them. In the meantime, we are also seeing the players on that southern edge also having a little bit of difficulty. I think that was the players coming through from Bump's team on the southern side. Now it is going to be RS, though, looking to bounce back here as Roscar. I mean, I was looking at their rotation, kind of just how they find themselves situated. I'm surprised that they've not actually looked to claim a little bit more of this territory. Yes, I know it is quite exposed, but there, I think, is a great chance here for them to really have a good position to kind of bounce back from, right? Should the next zone require any difficult decisions on their end. I like what Christie is doing, though, keeping the players over on towards that western side, just keeping them kind of at bay, right? Trying to remind them that it's not a good idea to look in their direction.
If you want to be very careful about that, as Ozrox slowly but surely will be pushing up, closing that gap. We'll have a decent bit of ridgeline to work with. We'll be able to call it home for now, at least for Leon, which is good. I like that Leon is on the front line because he's really good with utility in general. He's got 3 nades, but Pika, oh, really good nade here. Just going to demand respect from Leon that he cannot stay there. And actually, indeed, Leon is going to give them a lot of respect to regroup with his team. So that is just not an option unless you commit to the breach. And you can see DK clearly looking to do something. Every player in a buggy, in a vehicle, looking to make a mad dash forward. But where the hell are they going to go?
Yeah, I mean, I think realistically they're probably going to try and stick close to the woods here, right? Rotating out through that open field is not going to be a very sensible approach to take. As you can see, Mela's not really committing, instead doing a little bit of that due diligence, seeing what the zone has up ahead of them, and especially on the southern side, right? Nobody here is in zone, so there is an opportunity for Ozrox to get a little bit cheeky, right? Rush forward onto squads, kind of leapfrog their way over them, and at the same time pick them up. Bag them up, and off they go. But Melas is going to start taking a little bit of damage as Roscar now looks to get onto the defensive here. It's going to be Tough Love trying to man at least a little bit of coverage. Don, I like the setup. Nice angle that they've got. This could be exactly the play now for Roscar to try and capitalize on this opportunity on the southern side.
This is a good push up from Ozrox. I like it. They saw there was a really good dip, which means even if they commit to the fight, it's really hard to third party, which actually RSC can somewhat third party from a distance, right, because of their strong compound, but it shouldn't be a really hard reset for Ozrox. I think they will get back up as a 4-man team. And look at the leaderboards on the right side. Teams from 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and almost 7th place are fully eliminated, allowing Vicious and Ozrox to create a massive lead. It's going to balloon fully out of control if no one's able to really catch up to that one. So in particular for Rain and RS in the middle of the rankings, they really need to get a big game if they want to have a chance at the crown your champions of Season 2. It's Rain looking at their POV. Vicious looking to make it absolute hellish for them in that building. And as they find the knock, typical Vicious fashion, they might look to actually fully send it forward. But the smoke might make them think otherwise, make it known that this is a bit of a risky push. You're going in somewhat blind. But the northern edge is fully under control of Vicious. They have every single location checked out and under their control.
Yeah, I mean, of course, Vicious, they've claimed quite a bit of this territory, right? Rain were holding onto it for the longest time, and now they're going to have to kind of face the music as the pressure continues to build. But I see not relenting on that front. Just focusing on the one front as he spots out RS, Tough Love, and the open. That buggy, a little bit of a saving grace, but it might be short-lived, as we can see Ozrox also now swooping in behind them, and it is just pressure all over the place here, Max.
I mean, clearly, I like what Icy's doing too, right? He's going to be playing that southern western apartment building of Yasnaya Polyana City. So he's going to be the eye of Sauron for Vicious, realistically. He's just going to get so much insight, trying to also zone teams away, just kind of deter them from maybe looking to clash with your squad. So Icy definitely having a very important, impactful role for his team. As Rain, given a glance of survival, given an opportunity to maybe make it deeper in this game, but the blue zone is not going to be too friendly. Will force them to make a decision as to, do you breach a potential location? Do you just try and survive on the edge and outlive extra teams to get placement points? They need to make a decision here. Rain need to commit to whatever play they want, but I would say Crash could be the option that would reward them with a bunch of points in this match.
Especially seeing that the opportunities for compounds are so limited, right? We have a nice concentration of compounds over on towards that western side and slightly up towards the north, but the rest is just barren open field. So if you want a compound to try and fight off of, you're going to have to try and rush it. You're going to have to try and claim ownership of that, but it's not going to be an easy feat by any measure. Now it's going to be Midza trying to defend at least that western front line as the pushes comes on through. Quick jump to take a look at that map. As you can see, it is just nothing but field. There's one compound essentially that I think is going to be the golden ticket here if the zone stays over on towards the western side, right? And that, of course, is right where Savage is now, but just ahead of him is a golden opportunity at hand.
And look at RS on the east side of that circle, in zoned on the Harry Potter Tower. And they're just going to have an easy time to just, I think, reach top 3. I'm expecting RS with that position to get a podium at least. As Rain, do you go for one of these crates in the open? You got to know this area if you want to send it here. Thing is, it's very hard to defend your cars, and I think that here, if you do send it behind these crates, you're just giving up any mobility for the later stage of this circle. So Rain might just be stuck here for the long term. As for RS family, got to be careful. Jokeru going to be spotted by Icy himself with the M4. That's a good range knock to be found. And they are also not in play zone. So I think it's just a matter of time for RS before they get eliminated. Unless they also try to send it. Maybe look to crash fully on that crate of Rain.
I mean, it could be, but also realistic, I think, if you look at the situation, is all the teams are pretty much focused on each other up and towards the northern side, right? The southern edge is uncontested. There's nothing really happening there. So both those squads on the far southern edges can just sit back and wait for the rest of the lobby to kind of dissolve the contention here. There is now going to be the Vicious having to kind of face the music, going up against the side of Ozrox. Both teams looking pretty decent. Ozrox with 5. It's going to be Vicious sitting on 9, but the Vicious, they are out for blood. They want to get back into contention here, and so far they've been doing a really good job.
Yeah, it's been fantastic, but I love that Ozrox are looking to clash inside the city. It makes it really hard for teams to third party you, even from a range, because you're fighting in the buildings, which keeps you really safe from long range shots from the likes of maybe RS, even Western teams like Rain or for RS family. So, Ozrox, good game plan. I love the execution, but will you be able to actually deal with the fragging power of Vicious? That is going to be the question. As there you go, going on the assault mode, JS9 in hands of Leon. New weapon added here to Erangel. He's got a good backstab play onto Korra. He gets the lineup, looking for Doran 2 for the bullets. Oh, down to the last bullet on the JS9. He will find it. Looking to try and confirm that one swiftly, but Leon will still have to take down one final player here of Vicious. He's going to be upstairs. Oh. Good nade, actually. Able to find it. That's Icy, the man himself, looking to stand strong and tall for his squad mates. Did go down earlier, and now swapping on over to that CQC weapon. It's the F12K in his hand. The Molotov going to delay that push. As it stops spreading, the blue zone will look to encroach, just adding an extra time factor to the equation. Icy still has 4 grenades. He's cooking, literally, as he gets the nade, and that's it. See you later, sleepy night. Ozrox sent right back to the lobby. Icy dominates up to 12 eliminations once again.
Absolutely phenomenal place we're going through on the utility here. I mean, it's like it's a textbook angle to try and take, but now it is going to be that big old push having to come through here from IC. I mean, all those shots looking phenomenal, but can he survive? Can he get back into that safe zone? You can see RS already starting to move up. We got the players there from 4RS as well, looking to lock down that western front. So I don't see a lot of options really for IC coming forward, but it is going to be Wake Up getting shot here as Jordy starts to get the ball rolling. Now, with the final 5 teams left, again, there is just not much space to work with.
You can see for RS, Christie's only got 23 bullets in the M4. So this is the issue when you play in fields. It's really hard to get access to death crates of any ones to shut down. So I think that here, in terms of resources, they're going to be stretched very thinly. You really got to rethink maybe giving ammo to a specific player or a specific duo so they can be on the assault and you can have your other team just trying to survive. And if the fight goes completely wrong, then you can maybe redeem it with placement points. I think that could be the idea. But definitely not looking good on the ammo side of things. Able to spot the foot there of one of the players of Rain. It's gonna go back into hiding behind that crate. And also really good use of that rooftop Savage. Just getting them a bit more elevation on this flat finish. And as I say that is going to be game over for also Vicious and Team Rain. Down to the last two teams there, DK, for this chicken dinner. It's RSC versus RS.
Well, let's see who's going to be the one to bag that chicken. Savage and Geordie, the two contenders left over on the far side of it. It is going to be a full stand here as Roscar just comes in so relentlessly. Full squad up. This is their game to win. As you can see, Don, Bad Boy, and everybody else getting ready to just lock in and claim the victory here. But there could maybe still be a turning point. Those nades are going to look to make things quite challenging here for Savage to succeed. But the shots are in. The S12K is flying. The angles come through, and that is it. Roscar pick up the winner with a chicken dinner. What a way to command the battlefield here, Max.
I mean, really good. They saw that they had the man advantage. The opposing team was completely wounded down to just a solo player, so you got your car still ready to go at a moment's notice. Might as well just fully send it on the west to convert that into an actual chicken dinner. So 10 placement points secured. GG well played for Roscar. Nicely done. Not easy too. You have to keep in mind, we are looking at a proper Yasnaya Polyana field finish, so your resources are going to be stretched very thinly, and I feel like they made the most out of what they had in their arsenal at that point in time. So GG well played indeed. Though, sure, the chicken dinner was very fun to see who was able to secure it, but that northern fight between Team Rain, Ozorox, and also the side of Vicious really was absolute cinema in this game, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was, and I mean, but you also got to give it up to Don, right? Because we did see Don taking down IC from Vicious as he tried to rotate up in towards the zone, right? Rushing forward with the vehicle and just getting absolutely sprayed down and stopped in his tracks. So, yeah, a lot of excitement up in towards the North Cities. Are always so exciting when the teams are hiding around all the different angles. And IC with that absolutely pinpoint accurate nade to secure 12 eliminations for the squad. I'd say that's a job well done.
Yeah, definitely a good success ratio, right, for this squad. But you know what? I'm very intrigued to see what the leaderboards look like here before we do dive into our third match later on. And Ozrock still in the lead, but it's still closing. It's a 9-point difference between themselves and the Vicious. So they're going to be right on their heels, looking to claim a victory. As down below is going to be Roscar. So that chicken dinner definitely putting them right back on the map as a contender for this golden medal.
Yep, they're knocking on the door. They are coming through with demands, but we'll see soon if anybody is going to let them in. Things also looking still pretty tight as it is with regards to the top 6, right? You can see 1 for all, just 1 point away from catching up to Pump's teams. So there's going to be quite a bit of contention coming through, but all the ones just lining up outside that top 6 position. One other team that I'd like to see maybe step it up a little bit more is going to be Big Baby and Motion, right? We've not seen all that much from them just so far in these past 2 games. So hopefully the remaining 3 matches here today, we could see a little bit of that Big Baby and Motion action coming through.
It would be good to have a bit of a redemption arc for some of these bottom teams, because we know what Big Baby and Motion can do. They have a lot to bring to the table. They can showcase absolute greatness here in PUBG Mobile Esports. So you know what? Sure, it's a slower start. They can redeem it, but you got to redeem it now, because keep in mind that these tournaments, right, from TETO Games are very short. It's only 2 days for the finals, 5 matches per day, 10 matches total. So really, if you already miss out on almost half of your games here on day 1, it's going to be really rough for you to pull off that comeback, especially when the top teams are looking just so incredibly consistent for both the Vicious and Ozorox. So do keep in mind that that clock is ticking, and it's ticking really fast. Though, that's going to be it for our first 2 games of today. We still have 3 games left to go. 1 Erangel, double Miramars here on the menu. And especially for the next Erangel, I think that this circle was a bit rough for teams. But one thing I do want to highlight, DK, I want to see improved upon instantly would be the rotational speed of teams. So many teams upon phase 2, 3, 4 were so far out in the blue zone, nowhere near any strong foothold in the play zone. I feel like if that can be worked upon for some of these squads, there's a higher chance that they can get those placement points on board.
I have to agree. I mean, especially when we make it over on towards Miramar, but later on, teams really can't afford to spend too much time out in the blue, right? That is going to bite them in the butt, and we don't want to see any biting happening, right? We want to see fighting, not biting. That is going to be the approach to take, and yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, looking forward to it, and also looking forward to this break. So guys, see you soon for our next match here after this short break.
Change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü?
Gördüm. Al ve sana yakışmaz mı? Gördüm beyler. Al ve sana yakışmaz mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi gel. Abi şimdi
Ben sev...
TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi Mardin'se başka bir şey olmayacak.
Biliyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz zaten.
TETO Games aynı.
Anneni de aldın dur.
Ben çekiyorum ben de, bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü?
Gördüm. Al ve sana yakışmaz mı? Gördüm beyler. Al ve sana yakışmaz mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi gel. Abi şimdi
Ben sev...
TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi Mardin'se başka bir şey olmayacak.
Biliyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz zaten.
TETO Games aynı.
anneni de aldın dur.
Ben çekiyorum ben de, bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü?
Gördüm. Al ve sana yakışmaz mı? Gördüm beyler. Al ve sana yakışmaz mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi gel. Abi şimdi
Ben sev...
TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi Mardin'se başka bir şey olmayacak.
Biliyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz zaten.
TETO Games aynı.
anneni de aldın dur.
Ben çekiyorum ben de, bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
Şey
beyler yeni skinleri gördünüz mü?
Gördüm. Al ve sana yakışmaz mı? Gördüm beyler. Al ve sana yakışmaz mı?
Abi ya.
Abi şimdi
Ben sev.
TETO games.
Aynen. Yok şimdi Mardin'se başka bir şey
Biliyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz hala.
TETO games aynı.
The top dogs and the underdogs are still racing everyone down here in these games to try and compete for that golden trophy at the very top here for the TETO games. Always on Romania Season 2 Edition Day 1. 2 amazing matches here to kick off the day and still 3 more left to go. 1 Erangel and 2 Miramars. My name is still Maxman. His name is still DK. There's my typical throw here. DK ready for the action once again. But no, it's been a really fun start to the day and it's fun to see a team that is not, you know, Ozrox, Big Baby, Motion and Vicious taking that second chicken dinner.
Yeah, and I mean, it's going to be interesting to see if any of the other teams are going to be left barking at the moon, seeing that you've been talking about the top dogs and the underdogs, right? And there's a lot of noise out on the battlefield, but somebody has to rise up. Somebody has to lay claim to that. And I mean, so far things are looking pretty good. We did say that we want to see Big Baby or Motion potentially ramping it up coming into this next game. I hope that they will have the opportunity to do exactly that. But looking across the board, right, the top 8, they've been quite aggressive, right? The top 8, they're all sitting with around about 10 eliminations apiece. Team Rain, the only one on that board there, sitting with only 9 eliminations. Not yet hitting those double digits, but all of that, of course, can change coming into match number next. But, yeah, the Vicious, I'm expecting them to try and go out and look for a few Oxes out in the battlefield.
Are they going to hot drop? No, it's true. I'm memeing. It's just a pipe dream. I'm like, oh, maybe it would be super fun, right? Hopefully we're not going to have that weird whatever was happening in the Yasnaya fight again. Like, that was 3 points for the Vicious. I don't know why that happened, right?
Yeah.
For me, you're setting it there late for Yasnaya Poliana. It is excusable because it was the very first Erangel, right? So my hope is, DK, going into this one, that they understand now that location has been taken up. Vicious have set up shop in that location. It's not worth it. You can have 2 teams maximum there. So if you really want to commit to it, you can. 3 teams is just that breaking point that naturally Yasnaya tends to reach if you do have 12 players sent in that area. So hopefully that will not be the case this time around. But outside of that, there's still so many good drop locations available. Like you've got Alamo, you've got Heaven to the eastern side, even Impala if you really want to go for it. So there's definitely a ton of options for these teams to go for if they are really dedicated to surviving in these matches.
But so interesting thing I'm thinking about is like, are we looking at another northeastern kind of zone coming through here for the teams to try and fight through, or is PUBG going to do what PUBG usually does and like kind of shift the zone somewhere else, right? I mean, I would realistically like to see something still kind of in the fields, right, but move it a little bit more towards the western side, perhaps, right, heading over in towards Gatkar, Quarry Fields, somewhere kind of in that vicinity, right? It does change up the things and the kind of approach the teams would have to take here. I think it's also going to change up the dynamics and the strategies that the teams would look to have to apply, at least a little bit, right, coming into that zone. But of course, we are going to be hopping onto that plane very soon to see who, where, and what the map is going to be bringing to our squads.
I just realized, by the way, I said Impala. I don't know why it's Lipovka. I've always done that. I don't know why. There's always 2 compounds that I mix up, and it's Lipovka and Impala. That I know are not on different maps, but they're like in a similar location, and it's Lipovka, Impala. I don't know what it is. It's just the way my brain works with those 2 cities. It's always very confusing. But I have heard right now from our producer that we are slowly but surely going to get into our 3rd match of the day. I'm reaching then. That means the halfway point of day 1 for Always on Romania Season 2. And here we go, plane. Oh, not going to be a friendly one here, GK. Going to be actually from the western coast down to almost Novo Repnoya. So teams that are, usually dropping up north in your Savernis, in your Yasnaya Polianas, even shelter locations, will have to go for a bit of a stretch drop or even go for a secondary drop location. Ooh, that would be great in a lobby like this.
Yeah, well, we can see that nobody's going to be dropping in Picardo, right? They might go for Pachinki, but they're not going to be hopping in Picardo just yet. That will come in the match number next. But for the time being, we do see Primorsk, though, Max, is going to be receiving a little bit of potential love, right? Quarry and Primorsk area, we can see the players there from Big Baby looking to get themselves situated. Pump's team right there alongside them. The military island could potentially even have Rain and a little bit more coming through on that end. So I like the setup that we have here. Now it's all going to be down to how the teams are going to look to get themselves distributed.
Yeah, well, okay, well, it seems like it's going to be distributed 50-50, even split around the river. These circles don't look like it, but they're very brutal, especially if you're on phase 2-3, 50-50 split on the river, but you just want to stay around the bridges just to facilitate your early game rotation, and that means you have a chance that an early crash could happen, which actually, look at that, residential area in George Pole, because of the drop location, and also because of the circle, we had a bit of a clash happening, so that was one player out for the count here on Erangel, which is not fun. No recalls like on Rondo, not the way to go. And yeah, you can see over to the west, you already have some teams located on the bridge side of George Pole, east of George Pole in particular. You got Vicious up there too. So teams clearly trying to set themselves up for really good mid-game rotation with those locations. As Dorian with a VSS here, looking to pepper down some players in crates of George Pole. That's Dorian with an interesting loadout. Yeah, VSS and explosive bow. Sook would indeed be proud.
Ooh. Yeah, definitely would be. It's an interesting position here for them to try and call home for the time being. I'm curious whether or not the Vicious are going to maybe opt back into Yasnaya Polyana, right? We did see them drop there in the previous round, so I wouldn't be all too surprised if they did decide to go for that. Dorian now is going to be rocking the dual wielders as he moves on up. It looks so epic with those laser pointers, right? It almost looks like a bit of a futuristic dinosaur or something, like, wow.
Yeah, there's a cool skin now, actually, in the game if you want to get it. It's actually two little dragons. They're just like spraying flames when you spray it. But yeah, the dual MP7. So yeah, he's got VSS, explosive bow, dual MP7. So it's a very weird loadout. But it makes sense, right? He's just stranded in this little mini compound. And the thing is, you do have a car spawn here. You have a garage, which I'm surprised isn't already attempted to regroup, but maybe he wants to have a clip for his Instagram. He's like, oh, if I clutch up with this loadout, whew, easy content on the good old Instagram. Easy 100,000 views. As he's stuck there, Novalo and IC going to be on the move and looking to save Soldier Dorian, it seems.
Yeah. I am happy, though, to see that the players from, I believe it's 420, right? They went right back up into Savoni, where we saw them previously. And I think Savoni this time around is going to be a really good setup. Right, I think we could be looking at that being in zone at least for a good chunk of time here. We did see a few engagements also happening on that southern side, RSC and 4RS fighting in the compounds just north there of Pachinki itself. So I like that there's a little bit of tension on the field. Not too much just yet, as the squads are predominantly focusing on getting themselves set up in good positions here. But Vicious, I like this early rotation coming through on their end.
Yeah, Vicious going to have a quick little four-man rotate in a car. If John Allen was watching, he would be fuming. He would hate this. As RSC going to be looking to make their way out here. Trying to save Savage. Oh, does make it away. One more bullet, and that could have been game over for him. But no, he gets back into a little bit of a safety net. As he makes it behind the wall. And yet, quick reset onto him. For RS family, though. Looking to commit, it seems. Jokeru really sticking to this rock. Not wanting to budge whatsoever, which I would really recommend. And even repair, right? He's got himself a really cheeky off angle out in the fields. I wouldn't recommend it. Realistically, it's just not worth it. You're already in circle. It's phase 1. You already lost one player, Paka, right? Paka 22 is out for the count fully this game. So I would say better to just retreat, which is exactly what they're going to do. It took them a minute to get there. But I do like the fact that they did give up on a very useless fight.
Yeah, I think like if they were to rotate back up to like Boatyard, that wouldn't be a bad call for them, right? It's a nice centralized position, and it could also set them up coming into that next phase, especially as you mentioned with the bridge, or rather the river, cutting this current zone right through the middle. So I think there is a bit of an opportunity at hand for them there. Bumps also now starting to pull up as they pull into Cube here, looking to get themselves situated. But it's not going to be too contested. Yes, we do see quite a few teams over on towards that western side, but I think all the squads over on the west are pretty much just focused in on each other, right? They're not going to be focusing too much on this eastern rotational play just yet. Big Baby though, Max, they are rolling up, starting to kind of creep up in towards the zone itself, while One Tap Romania, going for a cheeky setup on the hill.
Yeah, I'm looking to get a bit of an overview of what the hell is happening in crates. Oh, what the hell is happening on the Eastern Bridge? Oh, we saw it for a split second there. No! Our spectator, please take us back. I want to see what's happening on that Eastern Bridge. It's RS and Rain, if I'm not mistaken. Gonna be having a bit of a back and forth on the bridge. Not gonna be fun. As, ooh, on tap Romania. Aussie will have to go back into hiding behind that dirt pile. Things are gonna get a bit hectic for those teams going for the slow rotation in this zone. I did say I wanted to see worked upon in this next game, but some teams are still lacking behind. As actually, DK, as we have still some early stage passiveness happening here, not too many clashes happening left, right, and center. I want to ask you, if you had an in-game skin for an esports team of your liking, right? Like you could have, let's say, a parachute or an actual outfit themed around that team. Which team would you like to see get that cosmetic, that skin? It's a bit random, I know. It's coming out of nowhere, but I'm just curious.
Wow. Talk about putting me on the spot. I can't necessarily name an exact team right now, but I could tell you what I would want to see, though. What I think would be a pretty good thing. Would be like a victory dance kind of thing, right? If you get a squad wipe, then there's like a bit of a victory dance, like you do when you get the winner with a chicken dinner in Classics, right? Yeah. That kind of thing, but one with like everybody dressed in the team's outfit, right? The team jersey.
Oh. Okay, that could be fun. I thought you were going to say like they lift the PMGC trophy and that's like the victory animation. That could have been really cool, actually. But yeah, no, team-wide jersey.
Yeah, they do like a team-specific dance, right? Oh. Like you would have a Ozorox kind of finishing dance thingy.
Oh, I like that. That could be fun. Okay, approved. If the PUBG Mobile eSport team is watching, my man DK's cooking. Please bring it. We need it now. As unfortunately, one team that is not cooking apparently is Ozorox, as they're down to just a duo. Melaz also was dropped down to his knees, and that is going to be them down to just PC and Leon 44. That is just trying to hide behind that box inside the building, so he's just hoping to remain completely undetected. So now another team is going to be taking up the focus of Ozorox, and it's going to be down to just one. It's Leon. He's got the first aid. But no one has spotted him just yet here, DK. Maybe he could get a cheeky nade and just completely catch off guard for Error Team.
Yeah, I mean, I like what 404 is doing here, right? Also trying to kind of swoop in with a bit of a third-party contention. So that is going to be applying quite a bit of pressure. And I like a decent serving of pressure. But Big Baby, good disengage. They are going to prioritize that zone positioning, as we did see the zone pulling all the way up north and is centered very, very close to shooting range. So, I mean, Vicious, one of the first teams to move exactly into that region. Most likely going to be going for one of the compounds up on the hillside. As you can see, they're not pulling in on towards that western front. But the feed, though, in the meantime, is going to go absolutely crazy. And I think edge of zone, specifically on that southern side where the bridges are, is going to be chaotic.
It will be a little bit hectic, but I feel like when you have a big northern pull-up for this circle, I think that teams are going to opt to go for a wide a wide western or eastern rotate, which could still involve bridges, especially in George Poe itself. But I think that here teams are going to go for that wide rotate just to avoid the bridges, because you just don't know what's going to be here. Like Big Baby are taking that gamble here, sending it right next to pumps. Luckily enough, King does make it over, but will he survive? To tell the tale, I'm not too sure as he makes it. Oh, and there's even another team here east of George Poe itself, so Big Baby took the gamble, and so far it is not paying off.
Yeah, it's going to be Unbroken right there alongside him. Pumps also just trying to get a bit of an assessment going here. But we did see the players from RS, right? Rosecar, who dropped all the way in that far southern side, now starting to creep on up on that eastern side of zone, actually trying to, I think, steal Severny. So that's going to be a cheeky approach coming in on that end. Of course, they are going to have to contest against the side there of, I believe it's Team Moldova. That's already situated in pretty close proximity to them. So there's going to be a bit of spice, right? A little bit of heat coming through on that front, and love to see how that all unfolds. But in the meantime, down here on the southern side, One Tap Romania looking to work their way through the container yard. They've figured out that there's a team trapped within, and that is unfortunately going to be Unbroken.
We just also Vicious clapping an entire squad, it seems, getting a few knocks. No flushes, just one. But still able to demand respect and continue their reign of terror in the center of the circle. As One Tap Romania, though, not going to be looking good. That vehicle not seen definitely better days. So look to make that wide rotation around Everest. And actually, talking about Everest, we have a big fight happening down south of Everest, right? It's going to be 404 and RS clashing deep outside in the blue zone. We'll see who's going to come out victorious. As one tap, still good for that wide rotation. And indeed, they were going to go for wide rotation here to the west. And it is going to be that long George Pole Bridge that will be taking up their focus.
Yeah, that is going to be a long, long way to go. But I like the fact that the teams are trying to opt for a little bit more of a strategically removed approach, right? In the meantime, the zone did shift even more over on towards the eastern side. So the shooting range hill as well as Savoni is going to be prime real estate coming into this next phase. So I see quite a bit of difficulty, especially for our teams over on the western front. And Max, there's still 3 teams at the very least out in the blue.
As always, it's tradition here when it comes to this tournament, right? Always on, always in the blue. That's the motto. But no, hopefully we'll see some teams looking to step it up. But one thing I do want to say, which has been very exciting to see in this lobby, that we haven't seen yet in actual esports mode, because again, 4.4 update just happened a few days ago, and you won't have in A or S tier tournaments. But you see the JS9 that usually is a Rondo exclusive now has been added to both Miramar and Erangel, and we already seen in particular during that fight with Ozrox and Vicious in Yasnaya last game, the JS9 was a very predominant weapon in that fight. It was very present, and I feel like this is going to be killing the UMP meta that we've seen for years now. UMP was #1, but now the JS9, I think, is just going to completely eclipse that weapon and will be the new SMG of choice for these pro players.
I mean, that's almost like the Uzi and the UMP had a baby, right? It's essentially kind of a cross, kind of, between the two of those.
You could say that. I wouldn't, but you can if you want to, I guess. Sure. Knock yourself out.
Well, I just did. Speaking of which, though, I'm looking over on towards that southeastern side where you can see One for All, Rain. We do see the players there from 420 there, as well as Pump. So a nice little bit of contention coming in from that southern edge as the teams are trying to kind of climb the hill, get themselves situated. But King, though, again, one of the lone survivors for his squad, right? We did see that in the previous round, and this time yet again, King is going to be trying to plant his flag right there, smack dab center zone. Not quite sure how long King is going to be able to survive this time around.
Yeah, well, I mean, in that position, you could easily make it like, top 5 if you don't get spotted. If you're away from a car, if you're not just camping next to a car, then you could survive. If he does have a car around him, that might kind of alert teams of his current location and chase him down. But so far, no one's in like a 150-meter radius of him, so he's big chilling. He's having a great good old time. As I see, you could see in the elimination feed, found an extra player. So Vicious going to continue on their rampage, which is great because Ozrox, keep in mind, down to just a solo player. So if they do get fully eliminated, it's going to be great to see if they can actually get themselves some points on board. As RFC, that's Geordie. He's spotted, bad boy. And that is going to be game over for him. Fully swarmed by the enemy composition. And even out in the blue too, we've got to be careful here. Tough Love, got to get away from that car. It's going to be burning up, might explode very soon if a few more bullets come his way. It seems like no one's going to be looking to get damage on that vehicle, and that is game over again for another member of RSC. They'll just get picked off one by one. And this game, not looking like an RSC chicken dinner, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be... it's going to be a pretty tough one for them to try and bag on up. But of course, we'll find out soon whether or not they are going to be taken out quite early on, because we still have 15 teams left. Max, we've only said goodbye to 4RS, right? That's the only squad not in the lobby with us anymore, and now it is going to become quite a jam-packed zone. As you can see, Icy spotting Dennis right there on the edge. Ooh, just firing a few warning shots across the way. Not quite sure whether or not the players there from One Tap are going to look to contest or maybe respond to the sprays that they've just been witness to. But I think especially looking at Vicious on the edge of the zone here. It's a fairly decent setup, right? They've got that plane to try and play off of. They've got quite a bit of the high ground to really try and gather decent information off of.
Definitely decent insight has been secured by them. 6 eliminations is just their lucky number they can get very quickly. They got it last game purely by third partying in Yasnaya Polyana. And now they're just going to be doing it by getting in that sweeping motion southwest on the edge. looking to get rid of that one straggler behind them, which is going to be Leon. Which, if they can get rid of that one solo player that is above them on the rankings, that would be beautiful, as Leon going to dip deep into the blue zone. You can see he tracks it, he hears the audio cue. Koa just trying to keep his scope on that kind of area in case. I think Leon will be able to find himself a position in circle. Unless Vicious want to go on the chase. And you know what? Looking at the minimap, DK, it seems like they are indeed fully focused on Leon. They want to get that juicy elimination.
Yeah, does seem like they are pretty committed to doing exactly that. Meanwhile, up towards the northern side, it is going to be RS also trying to lock it in here. As you can see, one tap now starting to move on forward, looking to get themselves situated up in towards center zone. And again, such a difficult zone to fight through, right? These hills proving to be quite a bit of a challenge. But Leon now just flying across the way. Is he going to be able to make it into zone as he tries to full send it forward, looking to survive? But it is going to be shooting range where we'll be having a lot of that crossfire, right? Not too many shots making any impactful connections just yet.
That indeed. Circle's about to go into phase number 5, so things are going to get a bit more dicey for every single team involved. It's 420. Unfortunately, not going to be blazing it really hard this game. That's going to be the end of the line for all those players. But Rain can get a decent dip here to play for. Can he get the res onto GZ? Will be hard to execute when a lot of teams are just laser focused on your spot. And with the car, Mitsa will be just crashing it to his teammate, but they're getting chased. They're not alone in this area. There's going to be a full squad looking to just kind of rain down bullets on their location. But Mitsa's got 5 smokes. That's more than enough to try and keep himself alive and his squad mates. So, hey, who knows? Maybe Rain can get back up in a healthy condition.
I mean, I think for Rain, this is a somewhat decent spot for the time being, right? Seeing that there's no teams behind them on the hill. I think the moment that somebody moves up above them on that high ground, that is where their position could definitely get quite threatened. But for the time, it'll hold up, and they can focus on not only getting themselves back into the fight, but looking to kind of get set up for this next potential zone, as we'll find out in a few short moments where exactly stage 6 is going to be taking us. The blue zone will start to close on forward. Team Moldova, though, trying to lock down the edge of zone. I like this approach that they're taking, right? King right here alongside them, hiding in the tunnels. He's trying to play the most serious game of hide and seek that he's probably played so far here today. But Moldova, I like this awareness, right? Quite a bit of mobility, trying to figure out exactly what their approach is going to be coming into this next phase.
I completely forgot that King could be in the shelter, and he is indeed, as you said, he's underground, right? He's just playing the mole game, hoping to remain completely undetected in this game. So, yeah, it's good for him. That's definitely going to keep him deep in this match if he gets the... Oh, he does get the circle again. I just saw circle 5. He's still in play zone, down below the ground. So, King, hey, you know what? Maybe going to get a few juicy placement points this match. The elimination feed keeps on lighting up every single waking second of this game. Well, Moldova, as you said, off to a really good start. Now reaching the mid-game. They still got 4 players alive. 5 elimination points for themselves. And really the only team in a strong position over to the east. So everyone else is looking to just kind of get a few scraps here and there, taking control of shooting range or even the southern hilltop position. But the east, fully held down by Team Moldova. No one is even close.
Yeah, so it is going to be theirs at least for now. But I'm watching what Vicious are doing as well, right? They got 6 eliminations. They still got 4 players up. But I'm looking at how they kind of are spread out across the zone. And so you can see that they're trying to get into placement point territory, right? They know that they are a few points shy of potentially catching up to Ozrox. And as we can see on the board there, they only need 6 more points to be on par, and 7 if they want to overtake them. So you can see that strategy there from the side of Vicious now being in full play. But they are starting to mobilize. They are focusing their efforts now on Pumps. And this could be Pumps now having to find something to help them through here, as already 2 players getting picked up, and an absolutely relentless onslaught going through from the side of Vicious.
Yeah, not looking too good, Vicious. Just looking to just dominate once again. Down south, they're going for the big sweep once again. That's the typical Vicious way. 9 elims, looking to make it double-digit. That means, by the way, if they do it again, Vicious would have had double-digit eliminations every single game, back to back to back here on the kickoff of day 1 of Always on Romania. So they They're definitely playing serious, I think. They're not trolling. They mean business. The vicious business. As circle shifts once more. And you know what? The high ground's still going to be in zone, so they don't have to go on the aggression here once again. But it is vicious. If they can go for a fight, chances are they might just fully send it. Because it's the vicious way.
Yeah. It definitely is, indeed. But now it is going to be Doran spotting a bit of an opportunity. And this is exactly what I was talking about with Rain, right? The position they had initially was good. But the moment a team moves up on this hill, exactly like Vicious has now, this is where the position becomes, I think, quite a bit of a tough angle to try and play off of, right? So they got to find a way to get kind of bounce back, right? Either rotate back out of there, get up on the hill, or just admit the fact that, well, you might not live to make it into the top 4 for this round. But in the meantime, there's going to be one tap all the way up on towards the northern side. Good edge position that they have here. Nice little bit of coverage. But they're going to have to focus their efforts on ensuring that they don't get jumped, right? Because RS is right there, but not only RS, right? They've got so many other squads also situated on this northern edge, and it is proving to be quite a tough angle.
Shooting range is going to be really tricky to work with. You've got a lot of really good hiding spots as RS looking to be on the offensive, closing the gap between themselves and one tap Romania. So far, the punt is all you're going to be hearing echoing throughout the battlegrounds. Really good shots connecting for Dennis, and that is going to be the end of the line, it seems. Eliminated in this game. 7 squads now remain as they're looking to get a quick reset, hopefully getting every single member back in working condition. As Moldova getting completely swarmed, it seems. That's going to be it for 2 extra players on their end. Down to just 1. He's going to be down below, right next to the fences of Shooting Range and Vicious. I mean, look, they still got the cars. They've got 12 eliminations. They have a ton of ammo to work with. This is looking like a Vicious chicken dinner in the making, DK, and they're looking to make it a big old 15 elims.
Yeah, they definitely are. I mean, just looking at the way that they're moving through on the southern edge of zone, they've cleared out half the zone. They know that all the teams are situated ahead of them. We've got Narvalo on that overwatch position on the western front. So, yeah, this is just strong strategies being played through here. As you can see, Narvalo capitalizing on that, picking up GZ along the way. Now Rain in trouble. This is going to be one tap, also feeling that heat. Just descending upon them. And Vicious, Max, they just unleashing the beast here.
Got to be careful though, Narvalo. That's going to be your final split pretty much for your org. He does not care. And he gets it eventually. Oh no, it's going to be Icy to get Ozzy. I thought that was really Narvalo able to connect it, but Icy's got the off angle too. Even if you do have cover, because of this insane 2-2 split we are witnessing right now for Vicious, you can't escape their grasp, right? They're just going to find you, and they're going to pick you up and just completely destroy you and grind you between their fingers and get that extra elimination. So 15 elims so far. They're looking so good, it is not even funny. As King, though, I mean, we talked about him. I think it was, what, phase 2, DK, where he was as a solo in the shelter location? And he's still there. He's still kicking and makes it to a top 5.
Yeah. Yeah, he's the king of hide and seek, right? That is a definite award that I would give over to Big Baby King over there. But yeah, it's not looking good for the rest of the lobby here, Max. Vicious, they've essentially pincered the entire remainder. Yeah, everybody is just pinched up in shooting range. They're like, you know what, it's fine. We'll play the rest of the zone. We'll have you have that little corner there, but you better know that we are going to take you all down. So I'm curious to see how this one is going to pan out. And whether or not Vicious is going to just dominate everybody. I mean, it's not looking good for Seiko, as you can see, right? Seiko very isolated. We got Big Baby, King alive. We got Mitza. And then, of course, the 3 players coming through there from the side of one tap. They're, outside of the Vicious, they're the only team with numbers here.
That is indeed the case. As Dorian also being careful there, does take the job of beating. But now it's pretty much or you go out to blue or you get eliminated by Vicious. And I think that you might have a better win ratio taking up the blue zone. Unfortunately, because this position is just insanely strong. It is just... It's the Great Wall of Game of Thrones right now. The White Walkers are not going to get anywhere close to the Vicious. As Vicious actually looking to go a bit more on the offensive, it seems. They were going to go on the downhill location. Giving up a strong foothold in the zone to get in nade range, which is able to find King. That does get the podium right. Top 3 for King as a solo. Great achievement for him as a solo individual. And Seiko in a very similar location, it seems, also going to get picked off. Well, how do you want to break down this game? There's really not much to say. We knew it was going to be a Vicious chicken dinner, and they wrap it up in style. Vicious claiming their first chicken dinner here of the tournament.
I think if my numbers are accurate, I think they might have ended on a 20 elimination game, right?
I wouldn't be surprised, yeah.
Because we saw them on 17 last time, and then they took out 3 additional players along the way. So an absolutely insane performance going through from the Vicious. Are we surprised? No, not really. Right. If you just look at the way that they were spread out on that southern edge of zone, once they've cleared it out, it was almost a given. It's like everybody else is to the north. The Vicious are just going to do what they are really, really good at. But I'd also like to give it up to One Tap Romania, right?
Yep.
They survived quite a long time, right? They had strong numbers making it into those late stages of the game, and they were actually quite a bit of a menace to quite a few squads trying to survive, right? Rain being one of the teams that kind of felt quite a bit of that pressure descending down upon them. So, you know, good strategies, good angles, but of course, has it been good enough to keep themselves on the standings?
We'll have to see. Let's check out the leaderboards to see how high One Tap Romania can actually be. And actually, they're going to be on the podium. The big old podium here with the bronze medal is going to be One Tap Romania with 27 points. And just below them is going to be Roskar with 26. And also tied with Team Moldova. So it really, right now, it is a big race for the top 3. But outside of that, second and first place is looking so comfortable, it's not even funny. Ozrox Esports, 40 points for themselves. And then Vicious, that actually, funnily enough here, DK, if you remove all of their placement points and purely on eliminations points alone, they would still be rank 1 with 43 eliminations. Vicious really just having a field day in these first 3 games.
Yep, they're having a blast out here. They're having a good old time. And I mean, I'm also happy to see that Team Rain has been able to create a bit of a gap between themselves and 420 right behind them, right? As we said before, if any position there is that you would want to play for outside of winning, the top 6, right? Top 6 definitely would have to be what you're trying to contest for, because that is how far the prize money extends. And so if the team want something else to walk away with here, they're going to have to step it up and bring in the heat. Fortunately, though, for 420 and RSC, not too much of a gap, right? 8 points and 4 points respectively, so it could be quite achievable coming into, well, Miramar, right? Because we're now done with Erangel.
Yeah, that's going to be it. It's going to be the Dusty Junes coming up here for our last 2 games of the day. But very exciting matches, I got to say. And even though, sure, it's very heavily tilted in favor of our top 2, right? Both Ozrox and also Vicious. There's definitely a lot of potential been showcased by some other teams like One Tap Romania. Again, to just highlight your point at the end of that game. Really good way to maneuver their way through all of shooting range, which is really tricky. You can always have a few stragglers to ruin your entire game. And I think they did deal with that just right, that potential match. Though, can we see a One Tap Romania chicken dinner on Miramar? That's going to be the question that we'll answer right after this break.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü?
Gördüm. Al ve sana yakışmaz mı? Gördüm beyler. Al ve sana yakışmaz mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi ya. Abi şimdi
Ben sev...
TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi maalesef başka geçemeyeceğim.
Tamam. Gidiyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz hala.
TETO Games aynı.
Ahmet'i de aldın dur.
Abi çekemem ben de bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü?
Gördüm. Al ve son yakışmaz mı? Gördüm beyler. Al ve son yakışmaz mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi gel. Abi şimdi de
Ben sev...
TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi maalesef başka bir şey
Tamam. Biliyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz hala.
TETO Games aynı.
Abi ben çekiyorum ben de bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü?
Gördüm. Al ve son yakışmaz mı?
Will the Vicious's reign of terror continue here on the Dusty Dunes? That is going to be the question, as 2 more games remain. It's going to be 2 Miramars back-to-back and could be a golden opportunity for our middle-back teams to maybe catch up to the big dogs here in the top 2. My name is Maxman, joined by DK once again to wrap up here this first day of action for the always-on Romania side of things, brought to you by TETO Games. And really, it's still very top-heavy, DK, to be completely blunt and honest here, but it's still an opportunity for a comeback if they get the points they need in these next 2 games, because that clock is ticking really fast.
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole variety of teams that could definitely look to bounce up, right? It could be One Tap, could be Roscar, could be Moldova, could be Rain. All of those teams can jump up to the top of the board. Not necessarily the tippity top, but into second place, right, in just this next game. So I'm really excited to see what these teams are going to be looking to bring on through. But we want to see the teams on the right side page bounce into the left. This is going to have to be the game in which they need to try and pull that off, because if they don't tomorrow, it's going to be a really, really tough day for them, right? So we've got Bumps, we've got One for All, Big Baby, and all the others situated over on the side here. And I mean, Bumps, to get up into the top 6, 8 points, right? That's all they need. It's not going to be... It's not an insane demand, right? So if they can lock it in and really bring it forward here, they could be quite happy with their overall performances. And of course, it would make tomorrow just that extra bit more comfortable.
Yeah, it would definitely make it a little bit easier for them to reach that threshold here at the top if you want to get a bit of money, which again is top 6. That is where you want to be to get some dollars in your pocket. Well, dollars, euros on the European side of things. But yeah, Team Rain, Moldova, Roscar, One Tap Romania, Ozrox, and Vicious. If we ended right now, those are the only teams that would be making something out of this tournament. Otherwise, you'll just be taking a participation prize, which is a nice thumbs up from myself and also DK, if he feels like it. Because there you go, you got the double thumbs up from us on the desk. That is all you're going to get unless you're in the top. You got 2 from DK. Okay, well, I think that's too much of a participation prize here, DK. Maybe for tomorrow, today, a little bit too soon. But no, Miramar coming around this time around. And I feel like we both echoed this point a few times today already, which is teams are lingering out in the blue too much. And in Miramar in particular, that's even more of an issue because it's all about your terrain knowledge. And if you are late to the rotate, 1 dip, if a team is located there, you didn't scout it, that could be the end of your squad. So late rotations need to be fixed really soon if they want to have a chance.
Yeah, so, I mean, Miramar is a map where you'll really know if you should have been in zone already, right? Most of the time, when the when reality strikes, there we go. When the realization sets in, that's when, yeah, you're in for a world of trouble. And Miramar is kind of deceptive in that sense. So, yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see how that's going to be going. DK is going to be back with us in a few seconds. Don't worry, that man is still with us right now as we get ready for our Miramar. But no, it's going to be a really crazy one for our team to see exactly what they can do. As here we go, the plane right up there with the birds in the sky, looking to get themselves our players on the battlegrounds. It's Campo Militar sending it to the western side of La Riera. That is going to be our situation for our teams. Not great if you have some squads going for Partono, Los Leones, Puerto Paraiso, or Impala. Not Lipovka, as I tend to do sometimes. I don't know why I still confuse it every once in a while. But outside of that, teams should be happy with this plane path for the majority. And I'm looking also for the loot trucks, right? We talked about it on Erangel a little bit earlier today, DK. And now Miramar, you still have some loot trucks on this map. You just need to know where they're hidden because the terrain can somewhat hide it sometimes if you're not careful. So you need to know exactly where it's going to be and at what time.
Yeah, I think that is an interesting bit of research to know exactly kind of, you know, what that rotation is of how the loot trucks come around. Because as we've seen a few times, Max, there's some pretty juicy loot in those trucks. And it's the easiest way to get yourself almost instantly upgraded into that next bit. So, yep, I like where things are going. But now it is going to be go time for the rest of the teams. As water treatment is where we find One Tap Romania. We can see the players there from One for All going all the way up into La Cobreria. But El Pozo, ooh, that is going to be a nice and sweaty spot. And also all the way over in towards San Martin and Hacienda del Patron.
Yeah, there's going to be a few teams over there that are looking to clash early. Of course, as I always say for these tournaments, it is forgivable that this is happening because it's your first iteration of that map. So Erangel, most of the hot drops were resolved. We didn't have that weird Yesnaya hot drop we had in game 1 on Erangel happening in the second Erangel. So I'm expecting something similar here where the first Miramar might be a little bit hectic, but the second one should be smoother for every single team involved. So that's what I'm hoping for because El Pozo... you could have 2 teams there, technically. 3 teams, you definitely reach that breaking point. So you're going to have Big Baby here, somewhat sandwiched. But it is Big Baby, so who knows? Maybe they can weather that storm. And as I say that, RSC also onto Kaiosha, a player that had a really good start here on Rondo today, just not been able to replicate that success on the other 2 maps.
Yeah. I mean, well, there's always always an opportunity to try and bounce back, right? Always that time to get a little bit better. So I'm curious to see who's going to look to bounce through all of that. But yeah, the pressure is in. The pressure is on. It's not often that we see our first team getting taken out so early on in the game, right? We're almost hitting 3 minutes of gameplay and overlaid. Lock in as well. Super low in the health bar, though. Don't want to get caught unnecessarily, but the rest of Big Baby is there. So there could be a nice bit of a response coming through here.
Gotta be careful there, Overladdie. It's got no nades, only 1 smoke. And they don't know exactly where he ran off to, so they're not sure what level he's currently set up into. Went a little bit too high. See no movement. This area is free, and as Overladdie does get an extra knock onto vision. Really good work being done. Stoke head going to be split apart. Big Baby looking to fully converge on this area. As Big Baby, off to a good start here. Sure, they do lose Stroes, but they get now these flushes confirmed on Overlad and Exo. Things looking dicey in good old El Pozo. And that is going to be normally, if I'm not mistaken, possibly the end of the line entirely if they can get the win here on this high ground position. They do get an extra knockdown to just a solo player, but they do struggle to find it, and eventually confirmed by our survivor of Erangel last game. It's going to be King himself, bringing the team back from the brink of death.
Yeah, the king of surviving, right? That is who we have, bringing the rest of his team back onto their feet. But yeah, at least... You know, Big Baby, they've already lost 1 player, so it's not going to be the worst position to find themselves in. Meanwhile, up in Hacienda del Patron, it is going to be 4:04 and the players here from Team Moldova finding themselves with a bit of a standoff. Curious to see if Gauss is going to look to maybe aggress here. We've got Razvan all the way up on the roof. So far, the aggression leader for their squad. But is that going to mean anything at this point, right? And it's interesting to see that Moldova not necessarily fully committing to the push here, right? They have a nice little bit of an off-angle position, looking to gather some decent information. But the team just kind of keeping their distance, right? Not fully committing to the rush just yet.
Taking it slow, step by step. Still 404. Error team's got 4 limbs, so 4 eliminations traded for 1 player. Not too bad. Though, as they do not have the man advantage anymore here, they're going to get pushed up. It's Team Moldova, a big name in this tournament that has been off to a good start this event. But unfortunately here, Team 404 had different plans in mind. As they clap right back in the face of Puddin. Now, it's going to be another 1v1 being found, and just not able to hit any shots here, but it doesn't matter. They will prevail in the end for the price of 1 player. And also, another squad that gets a 4 trade-off eliminations for 1 single life of Puddin. Not a bad trade-off, and you get the entirety of Hacienda del Patron for yourself, so that's some juicy loot now headed their way.
Yeah, always happy to have some good loot, right? Me as the loot goblin on screen right now, I will approve that approach. that will get
true.
my mark of approval here. But yeah, I think it's a really good play coming through here from Team Moldova, being able to move in and reclaim the position here. But unfortunately for them, it's not quite in zone, right? Had this been in zone, that would have been a phenomenal setup here. But they're going to have to find a way to get themselves rotated on forward. Fortunately, though, it's not going to be too much of a rotational path for them into that next phase. And yeah, Max, we also don't see anybody out in the blue.
Well, the blue has yet to really get anywhere where teams drop. So, for you know what? Yes, you are correct. DK, as of right now, you are indeed correct. Though I believe that will change in the next 2 to 3 minutes. So let's keep an eye out. Oh, Exo spotted by Christie. And flushed out swiftly by Tough Love. Not the way to go out, Big Baby. That's the thing also. You got to be very careful about this particular city because you've got so much elevation, so many different floors in these apartment buildings that you're just crossing a little narrow open area. You think you're safe, but no. 1 player can just be looking your way, and he's just going to be laser focused on that spot and just take your head right off. So, unfortunately, Big Baby going to learn that lesson the hard way. As King and Overladdie will be still alive. Still got a vehicle to rotate, and they're still decently positioned in circle. El Pozo is quite prevalent this circle in terms of central location. So who knows? Maybe a duo would be enough for them to get some good points on board. But it doesn't matter when the big top dogs at the top of the rankings are still up and kicking in this game.
Yeah, that does make things a little bit more challenging to accomplish here. But so Big Baby, they're going to have to get those legs working, put a little bit of distance between themselves and that El Pozo position with, I believe that's 1 tap moving in as well. So definitely don't want to get rushed anytime soon. Meanwhile, over on towards the eastern side, Osirox, yeah, they are now the only team in the blue. But so I think what I like about what we're seeing currently is that the teams are a lot more focused on getting ahead, right? Making sure that they're in the safe zone sooner in comparison to what we saw happening over onto Erangel. So I think they might have heard you, Max.
Hopefully. Good. I'm the IGL. I decide what goes. As RS420, that's going to be a big clash coming their way. Good defense with the M249 of Lace, and he's going to swiftly confirm that extra second elimination for themselves. Good compound also in terms of their entry point in the circle. So they can just be chilling over here. As for RS family, also going to have a good idea, an inkling of what the hell is happening in that compound, though. Packard going to go for the wide rotate out in the open. His car's going to be smoking, so might be limiting his movement. But I would say this is a bit of a waste of time in my opinion. This team is not going to peek out of the building. Phase 2 has shifted, so you've got to favor that instead. But Jokeru seems like he wants to hold the line with Paka. Even as a duo, I would recommend maybe finding a slight dip in the circle to just survive and hopefully reach those placement points.
Yeah, I mean, if only there was that terraforming opportunity like we had back on Rondo, that would be amazing. But on back, getting just ripped right out of that one. The vehicle only helping for so long. Fortunately, the rest of on back is still in it, right? They are just holding on the edge of zone, but I don't necessarily see them rotating rather, past the players here anytime soon.
I mean, this is a prime example of why, if you are a late rotating team, you do not rotate on the roads. Especially when there are compounds nearby, because you're asking for the easiest shot ever to be given to your competition. So no, could have committed to the high grounds or even the few dips and rocky terrain, but no, goes for the highway, and he is going on the highway to hell, or to the lobby to be a bit more, realistic. But still, good elimination confirmed, as Koa also popping off in that elimination feed with the S12K. So yeah, the shotgun nerf I thought might be impactful, but seems like I might have been wrong. It seems like the Bloom nerf was not enough to deter these pros from using it to its full potential.
Hey, if you got the aim, you've got the aim, right? I mean, it might mean that I miss more of my shots now, but you know what? So far for, as you said, the pros, it doesn't mean all too much just yet.
I mean, the thing is, I've been using the shotguns, especially the S12K, and I swear I suck at the shotgun now. And I used to be good, but in 4.4, I'm just terrible. And I swear, it's not all me. It's a little bit my fault, but also it's been nerfed. So like mid-range, you will not hit those shots anymore. Yeah.
Well, that's why I'll say welcome to the club, Max. Welcome to the club.
I'm gonna become a loot goblin like you now. That's my game plan.
Yeah, that's why, right? Because I suck at shotguns, so I look for other guns that shoot at different ranges. But yeah, speaking about different ranges, though, this is going to be an especially challenging zone if we continue to shift further down south, right? Climbing up into the hills here of Monte Nuevo. Ooh, it is going to be quite the risky play for a lot of our squads across the board. I mean, but Ozorox, though, they're taking a very quiet approach, right? Still all the way on the edge of zone, all the way around towards that far southeastern side, as you can see them now. They've just rolled into the zone itself. So, yeah, fortunately for them, they chose the right position to roll into, because that's exactly where the zone is going to be moving next.
Yeah, right on good old Monte Nuevo. So, Big Baby, Vicious, going to be looking pretty comfortable here, also for Ozorox. So looking on to the western side, one tap. Romania will also look to make their position, make their way to their position in the circle. As I see, there you go. He's always the off-angle player. I love his spots every single game. He's just so far away from his teammates, but you know that you can trust Icy to hit those shots and to just deter teams from pushing on your terrain. As they have this good little overview of whatever the hell's happening inside Monte Nuevo itself. This is a position that it might be hard to rotate away from later on if the circle's really unkind to you. But while you are up there, you're just going to rain bullets straight from the heavens on the competition. And boy, oh boy, you could get a ton of eliminations for a very small cost. So Vicious here could be looking for another double-digit game in terms of elims. That so far, DK, we mentioned it, it's one of the biggest storylines of today. They've had 3 games back-to-back with double-digit elims, and they could be making it happen once again on Miramar.
Yeah, it's very possible. They already have 4. And it's the second highest number that we have so far. 404 being the only team that has been able to get more. But they're no longer out on this battlefield, so let's see how this one is going to unfold and unravel as the teams. They'll need to find that next position to move into. Rain, though, is going to be dipping out into the blue to get themselves situated. We see Unbroken also just inching their way closer. Icy, though, good awareness coming through on that southern side. So I don't see any surprises creeping up on the side of Vicious. But you can't say the same about One for All, right? They are still over on towards this western front, out in the fields. But a decent 2-1 split, I believe that is, that they're opting for. Now, looking to make it official. Now it is going to be a 2-2 split, so they have even more coverage.
Yeah, trying to get just as much... oh, actually, we're going to have a wheel change for One for All. We don't see that feature used very often, but it seemed like they did get it from a gas station a bit further away in this game. But no, good 2-2 split overall from the team here you just talked about. And they're going to be getting a decent amount of insight on this zone. But phase 4 is about to show its ugly head in about 20 seconds worth of time, as one tap Romania looking to encroach on the terrain of RS. It's going to be Nebu in particular, looking to get onto that high ground. So you just got to be a bit cautious here because he does know where you are hiding. As Bad Boy not moving an inch, not trying to give that audio cue by moving too much. Because so far it seems like they have no idea Bad Boy's located there. But unfortunately, that is going to be another team. It's going to be Koa from such a long range, able to find the knock onto Bad Boy. And because of that, that will alert of that location. And you can see actually, one tap Romania here, DK, just because they know a team is there, they instantly get in the vehicles and get the hell out of there.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's a very good response on their end. You know, not to get caught by surprise. Instead, looking to capitalize on the quick moment of uncertainty here. But, of course, in the meantime, One for All also now moved up right alongside the players here from Vicious. So, I'd say that's going out of the oven into the fryer or something like that. So it is not much of an improvement overall with the stakes at hand. But yeah, Monte Nuevo, usually the kind of Bermuda Triangle on this map, now actually receiving quite a bit of attention as we've got essentially the whole entire lobby all just stacked in there. I want to see what's going to happen, right? Are the teams going to look to maybe get a little bit cheeky, fight a little bit more? Or is it all just going to quiet down for a little while?
I think it's going to quiet down because most of the teams have set up shop in Monte Nuevo itself. And until the circle takes away some buildings of Monte Nuevo from the equation, I think that teams are just looking to coexist until they really have no other choice but to leave their buildings of choice. Some teams are yet to make their way to the circle are going to be in a world of hurt, as looking at one player here. Still able to make it actually to that garage, but that's not for long, as Narvalo is going to put the nail in the coffin. That is going to be it. Sleepy Night Night. Up to 5 eliminations. 5 away from reaching double-digit elims again. 4 games in a row. This team just looking insanely deadly and also still have that mountaintop, right, in zone, under their control, under their thumb, to leverage to get even more eliminations for free for very little risk. As One for All did make their way in and carve their way through and secure that building northwest for themselves.
Well, I think there's some potential exciting things available here for Vicious because last season, Big Baby was the team to win this round, right? They won this particular match. And unfortunately, as we saw for Big Baby, they have only one player remaining. So with Overladdie being in there, I don't necessarily see a chicken dinner in their future, at least not for this round. So there is an opportunity for a new team to rise up and grab the first victory on the lovely Miramar. One for All, though, even though they might not have a bucket load of eliminations, this is actually not the worst position to be in, right? If RS was to push up, they'd get spotted by Vicious, right? So they have that extra little bit of coverage, a little bit of backup, right? Unintentional backup helping them through. So let's see how this one is going to pan out here. But a lot of awareness. A lot of scanning going through for One for All.
Yeah, and I was going to say, I do agree with your point, which is their position is really good, because when you do have a potential city finish, it's always better to play on the edge, even though, sure, you might not be in circle, but you don't have that potential backstab, third-party potential happening. You can just sweep from the outskirts moving forward, and you only have to focus on really what's ahead of you. So I think there's a lot of potential for themselves to do well, maybe even the likes of also one-tap Romania. So we'll see if they can actually pull this one through. Decent nade, a little bit short on that throw, but Icy's got the right idea, just to force Picky to reposition. Respect his wrath, as Vicious did go for the wide eastern rotate, and they got this 2-2 split to actually, sorry, now it's a 2-3-1 split. Doran still on the mountaintop in the zone, while Icy, Koa, and Narvalo go on the assault, send it right onto Ozrox. So again, this is a play that in a usually normal lobby for this team, they will struggle to execute it, but in this lobby, they are just flexing how good they actually are.
Yep, nothing wrong with a bit of a flex, Max. They'll take a flex any day of the week, but, well, you got to bring that flex to full form, though, right? You got to push it through the limits. And not quite sure what the limits are at this point, right? It is still a very undecided zone. We still have 2 minutes and a bit of change left on the clock until we see where phase number 6 is going to be going. But it does seem like we are pretty much committed to being up in Monte Nuevo, right? Even if it goes to either side, right? North, south, east, or west, there's still a lot of compounds in play here. So I don't think we are going to be looking at too much of a shift in the dynamics coming through from our squads here. Unless there's a team like Vicious patrolling the edges, right? Just moving through, trying to clear it all up and being an absolute menace yet again.
Could be the case. Though we are reaching a bit of a standoff here down south, and I think Vicious need to rethink if they want to commit to it or if they want to maybe focus on a position in the zone, which could, relieve a bit of pressure from the shoulders of Ozrox. And actually, because of that, they do get back in a vehicle and move up straight up into the play zone. And actually, they'd get a decent position for themselves, if I'm not mistaken. So actually, we could see Ozrox make it relatively deep in this game. But as a duo, still going to be really hard to compete with our current lobby leaders of Vicious, which I'm sure is what they were hoping for. It's 420. As a duo also, oh no, in the smoke. That's going to be a big, costly mistake. They do lose one. Seko might be the next to fall here as he does make his way towards the shed, but it's not even in play zone. He knows he can't stop, but then Icy spots him out from a range, and that is going to be game over. 420 sent to an early grave. Vicious 2 points away now from reaching that good old double digit they're so accustomed to. And Icy might be the one to make it happen. Oh, look at it. Everyone's got 2 eliminations. It's so even, Steven, across the board here, DK. Good teamwork. Yes.
Yeah, very balanced, right? Very, very balanced. Like to see that. But now it is going to be go time, as Moldova is going to be just creeping a little bit closer. We did see those shots raining down onto the side there of Ozrox, and things are looking pretty tough now for the rest, as there's only 9 squads left. I mean, but the players coming through from, I believe that's One Tap, Romania, they've just been quiet for a good long while, right? We've not been seeing a lot of engagements coming through over on their end. I believe they still currently sit with 1 elimination up. Yes, there they are in 4th place, 28 points on the board. But they're going to have to do something soon, right? If they want to contest, this is going to be their opportunity to do exactly that. And especially looking at the approach that Team Moldova is taking here, there could be a golden opportunity at hand here.
Could be. I mean, they're just hoping they're not going to be forced across that road, which actually with that circle, they can still stick to that dip. So they are happy. Really, if you are Moldova, what you want is to let the teams fight each other in the city. And as they're weakened, as they start to engage each other, players getting knocked, their vests and helmets get damaged, they start to use their resources in terms of ammo and also meds. That is when you can make that push. That is when you can decide to make the cross over the road and get involved in that conversation in the city. As right now, you just want to delay that inevitable push, right? You just really want to try and take your time before committing to the engage. There's actually a decent split too. You can see here just multiple players split apart from each other, trying to get as much insight on where players might be located. As Dennis moving on back to get a bit of a better angle onto Retro. Still waiting as Kos, though, spotted out. Not going to be having a good time. We'll have to use some resources to heal up from his wound. As outside of that, everyone is in zone except for that team, it seems. So they will have to make a push eventually. Which is not looking good when literally every team is set up in a very strong defensive position.
Yeah, that's especially challenging, right? When you're trying to move up and all you're hitting is those defended barricades. It's not very productful for team morale, right? Doesn't really help you all that much. But let's see what is going to happen here. As I mean, Vicious, they're not going to shy away from anybody ahead of them, right? Whether they've fortified, reinforced, or just running out in the open, it doesn't really matter. Meanwhile, Nibuni is going to find Christy. Quick little cheeky pick up there. 1 down, a few more to go. But RS trying to kind of leapfrog their way back into safety, right? So for Royoscar, I mean, they've been actually pretty consistent here today, right? You can see them currently holding on to that 5th place. They do still have 3 players up. And now Donna and the rest of the crew moving in. Some cheeky angles that could be played out here, but again, it's not going to be easy, right? They really have to be pretty committed to pull this one off.
For sure. I mean, it's Don, Tough Love, and Bad Boy to kind of keep the flame burning bright for this roster. As they are actually still, we talked about teams earlier, playing on the outskirts of the city is a really big advantage here, so we'll see if they can actually use it to its full potential. As Vicious finally have to get involved in these skirmishes. It's going to be versus Rain. 2 players, 2 different elevation levels in this building. As Dorian is going to look to push his way forward. He's right around the corner! Doesn't spot him in time, and that's going to be an instant punish. 1-for-1 traded. Dorian knocked on out, but Novalo's got a nice angle from a distance right over the ridge. of that roadside. Skoa and Novalo as a duo. Might be time for Novalo to regroup. You can see on the map feed he is indeed looking to regroup with his teammate, but there's no reinforcement needed as Skoa survives it with the S12K, takes it home, and that's another double-digit elimination game happening back to back to back to back. Vicious clearly dominating this entire tournament.
Well, Max, that's crazy, right? So, a S12K versus a M249, right? The M249 has rounds for days. it's literally spray and pray, or pray and spray, whichever way you around you want to say it. And so for Goa to live through that one, absolutely insane performance. But now, Moldova pushing forward onto one-tap Romania, knocking on the door. They want entry, and they are going to be absolutely aggressive on their push coming forward here. As you can see, Retro going for a quick bit stop over at the drop. Already 8 eliminations in the bag.
Oh, he's got himself the FAMAS. Really good weapon to have in CQC. Just a spray and pray. And the thing is also, because of the insane fire rate, it can really kind of create a big advantage for yourself. So that's a good weapon to loot up. That's Retro just going to be rocking the good old weapon. No MG3 though. Wish it was. I wish it was. Would have been great for them to have at this stage. I'm sure they would have been adoring having that airdrop weapon in their arsenal. As looking at RS, the team that you mentioned earlier, right, DK, as a team that's been showing promise this match. And here, they're going to get very close to one-tap Romania. The nade flying high up in the sky. Unfortunately, the bounce is just not there. Wasn't able to thread that needle. As McQueen looking to ka-chow his way out of there, because the circle definitely is not going to be favorable to their building. So there we go, map feed in view. But Vicious, they have the arena in the dead center of the circle. If they can literally keep teams at bay, this location is going to be, again, giving them a potential shot at this chicken dinner, which would be the first back-to-back chicken dinner of the tournament.
Yeah. I mean, it could very well happen here. Let's see if they are going to look to rise up and make that statement known. But, I mean, they're still going to have to compete against so many of those squads, right? And I think if you ever had a compound to try and choose from, this would probably be the best play for a side like Vicious, right? Using that arena to just have literally all your angles covered. So, yeah, let's hope it plays out for them. In the meantime, we are still waiting to see who is going to be the next team to try and step it up. One take, though, one of the only 2 teams in this lobby still rocking a full 4P. So that makes me a little bit hopeful. Max, we could see some exciting bits happening here.
Could be. Definitely could be. The thing is, you can see already, thanks to our observers for giving us a bit of a scope of this land, it is very open between the different segments of Monte Nuevo. So if, for example, you have this fight that's going to be happening, right, with 1 and RS, whoever wins that, you have to kind of cross out in the open unless you want to go for the arena of Vicious, which I wouldn't recommend. It's really, really hard to breach that location because you got that this spot of Doran. You can just go on the staircase and get some really good angles and elevation. So the dead center of the circle is very, very open. So teams got to be very cautious how they tread in this zone. That's one for all. Just really, I'm going to say, have been chilling massively. It didn't feel like a city finish for this team. They've just been in that building for the longest time on a mini vacation. But that vacation does have to come to an end. There's one tap. Also, a very similar scenario. The circle is going to be forcing a move eventually. We're on phase 8. Next circle is going to be phase 9. And the fact we still have 6 teams alive at this stage, DK, is mental. But we all know that in the next 2 to 3 minutes, that number should go down to 1.
But again, that just shows you why, like, Monte Nuevo is the Bermuda Triangle, right? The PUBG version of that. Because teams venture in here and then everything just kind of, right? Take them up in Los Leones, completely different situation, right? The teams are moving all over the place, but I don't know. There's just something about Monte Nuevo that kind of, has this same approach happening time and time again. Good nade coming through from Rondo. Just popping a little bit of damage over onto the side of One for All. But now it's going to be up to Tough Love to see, can he find that next angle, that next approach? Because stage 9 is about to hit, and we are going to be mere moments away from seeing who will be crowned the victor for game number 4.
Who will be the one to take it home? Our 4th chicken dinner here of day 1 for Always on Romania Season 2. Good nade from Kaos, though. Able to find himself a knock. Still not looking to make the cross, though. Taking it bit slower, which I do respect. We still have yet to really kick off Phase 9 close. Actually, no, Phase 9 is closing right now. It's just begun. Vicious still committing to the 2-2 split. Novalo does get picked off. IC will hopefully be able to get him back up in working condition as Love. Actually, Tough Love. Oh, I forgot about this. He can actually go below the staircases. And that's going to keep them really safe from the potential angle of Dorin and Koa. That's the nades flying onto RS. Don, though, able to tank it. That's some decent damage, though. The second might be able to find it. He's just going to be jumping and spraying it down with the MG3. The counter nade is there. RS looking pretty strong, and Dorin just going to be keep on sliding right down into that pit. As up north, the fight is raging on, and Bro will get picked off.
Oh, this is where the position here for Vicious actually could maybe become a little bit dangerous. But fortunately, as the utilities get thrown in their direction, of course, because of that funnel ahead of them, right, it all just kind of bounces down into the bottom and actually kind of keeps them away from getting hit by the damage. But now it's going to be the full send here as One for All pushes forward. Bad Boy gets found. Now Tough Love and Don need to step it up, and down goes Don and Tough Love, the last one left to carry on forward. Nebune goes on down. One for All. Got a full send around the corner. Got to watch out for Koa and the rest of Vicious now also just coming out of their hole here as they start to push on up. And this could be a very abrupt end now for Caesar as Doran is just waiting. Oh, McLeod up on the edge, or McQueen rather, as Doran comes through. Jump shot. Is he going to be able to back it up? 2v2 showdown. Oh, make that 1v2.
Good connection here, Koa, though. Got to be careful. Can't jump his way over. It's going to be down to a 1v1. Doran up against Bog for One for All. The nades cooked on both sides. Bog did cook his a little bit earlier. If it's run the money, it could be game over. The nade goes a little bit too far and wide, and it will be the spray of Doran to claim their back-to-back chicken dinner here on the dusty dunes of Miramar. What an insane showcase again from this team. And they got fully surrounded and overwhelmed, and yet they prevailed. That is truly the Vicious way.
I think that is the first time I've ever seen the zone stop in that bit, right? Like, ever. That's the first time I've seen the zone close up. It's insane plane. What an interesting read that was going through from Vicious, but it almost didn't work. It almost didn't work. They almost lost the winner chicken dinner to All for One. So it just shows you that it is still possible to cut it really, really close.
It was super close. I'm going to say One for All actually somewhat saved the day for Vicious, because Vicious were in a straight up scramble between themselves and RS, and even actually gave away the high ground position to the southern side of the arena, and I felt like everything was starting to fall apart. They were getting knocked, a few players were wounded very heavily, but then One for All say like, we kind of want to get involved in that fight, and because of that, it allows almost the entirety of Vicious to go for that full team reset and take the fight again. Like a full new squad. So really, that was really lucky for them. Sure, it did get a bit dicey and down to a final 1v1. It was enough to bring it back and secure that second chicken dinner. Vicious, 85 points, more than double the amount of points of second place in Ozark Esports. I know we're only 4 games in, DK.
Yeah.
But do we already have a champion? Because that lead is crazy.
I mean, that puts them on an average of 21 points around. Right, 21 points per match. Absolute insanity on their side. But, you know, are we surprised at the end of the day? No, not really. Because we've seen the same approach coming through from the Vicious before. But this is where, like, I'm just really impressed with what's happening with the other squads, right? Ozrock's also still keeping the pressure up. Yes, 41 to 85, there is quite a bit of a gap there. But, you know, they're still trying to stay relevant, trying to keep themselves in the engagements as long as they possibly can.
That is definitely going to be their attempt in that game, and hopefully the next games to come. Well, one more today, and then the rest of them happening tomorrow for our last 5 matches. But One Tap Romania, One for All these teams still have a chance. It's really cool to see the 2 teams, right, with almost the same logo and the same team tag, actually almost in the same spot in the leaderboard. So it's very fitting. It seems like they're going to be having that homey kind of setup happening in the rankings. But yeah, top of the rankings. See, for me, it's looking pretty much done, because we would need to see so many 0-point games for Vicious to happen for anyone to be able to even just looking to encroach upon that first position. So for me, it's going to be a race for second or pretty much third place at this very point in time. And that's going to be putting a lot of pressure on Ozrock's, right, DK, that they're second place. if you can't catch up to the side of Vicious, you got to be careful because the teams just below you in 3rd, 4th, and 5th position will be looking to take you down in the games to come.
Yeah, and so that just keeps the contention pretty high, right? So, but I believe Ozrox is a team that should be capable of kind of holding their own against an onslaught like that. But I wouldn't just expect that to happen, right? So it is going to take a little bit of focus, a little bit of pressure, especially with a team like One For All, right? The performance that they just brought in this last game, they could be another potential contender for that exact position. So you ain't safe yet, right? You're only safe when you have a 40+ point lead.
Which one team actually does have in the rankings. But in terms of Ozrox, we'll see if anyone will be able to tame the beast in our final match of today. One more match remains before we reach the halfway point of these Romanian finals for the Always On Tournament Season 2. If you guys want to check it out, stick around. We'll be back right after this break.
Gördün beyler. Al o ismi yakışar mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi gel. Abi şimdi
Ben sev.
TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi neredesin? Başka hiç yok.
Tamam. Gidiyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz hala.
TETO Games aynı.
Ahmet'i de aldın dur. Abi çekiyorum ben de bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games Always On. The game never stops.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü?
Gördüm. Al o ismi yakışar mı? Gördüm beyler. Al o ismi yakışar mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi gel. Abi şimdi
Ben sev.
TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi neredesin? Başka hiç yok.
Tamam. Gidiyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz hala.
TETO Games aynı.
Ahmet'i de aldın dur. Abi çekiyorum ben de bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games Always On. The game never stops.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü?
Gördüm. Al o ismi yakışar mı? Gördüm beyler. Al o ismi yakışar mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi gel. Abi şimdi
Ben sev.
TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi neredesin? Başka hiç yok.
Tamam. Gidiyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz hala.
TETO Games aynı.
Ahmet'i de aldın dur. Abi çekiyorum ben de bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
Bak şöyle. İyi. Yok iyi şu an. İyi.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü?
Gördüm. Al ve sana yakışmaz mı? Gördüm beyler. Al ve sana yakışmaz mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi ya.
Can Vicious pull the hat-trick here at the end of day one of these finals for Romania and make it a third chicken dinner back-to-back-to-back? We'll have to wait and see, of course, as we head into our last game of the evening. It's going to be Miramar on the menu once more. And really, it is the Vicious show every single game here, DK, it feels like, because it's them against the 15 other teams. And so far, they are winning it by a landslide.
Yeah, they definitely are with a 40 plus point lead. It seems pretty obvious, and it'd be an amazing comeback story if one of the teams or a few teams in the lobby either targeted them or was somehow able to perform even better, right? Secure even more points across the board. Is that realistic? Not yet. Not yet. We're not at that point just yet. But I'd love to see that happen.
Yeah, would be nice to see some other teams just kind of give them a run for their money, but no. I'm a man of many words, and all I have to say is no, I don't think it's happening. You have a 40-plus point lead at this point of the tournament in only 4 matches. It's going to be really hard for them to come back, because you would literally need, we said it before the break, right? You would literally need Vicious to get 0-point games multiple times in a row today. Well, sorry, in this last game, and then the games to come tomorrow, which realistically, I don't even think is feasible for a team of this caliber in this particular lobby. So I think that it is going to be indeed a second place race. And Ozrox are leading the pack, so they're going to be the one in the hot seat. Can they hold down the fort when other teams are looking to be really consistent behind them, like One For All looking really strong, RS looking really strong? I think that they are going to have a real run for their money here in this final game of the day.
Yeah, I mean, of course, you know, there's still a bigger share of the prize pool up for grabs, right? So the teams can always look to upgrade the amount of money that they walk away with come end of tomorrow. And so I think for Ozrox and any of the teams sitting right behind them, there's still a great opportunity, right? To go out there to play the best PUBG that they can here. And of course, walk away smiling, right? Because the jump between that second and third place, it's also a considerable amount of moolah. So, you know, if you want a larger share, there's only one way to get more euros in your bank account. Get aggressive and yeah, try and lock on through. I'm actually quite satisfied and pleasantly surprised by a few of the angles that we've been seeing teams are going to take up as they've been stepping out on the battlefield, right? Like, I mean, for one, we saw the players there from Rose Guard just keeping that consistency going, right? Finding themselves in a really decent position coming into those late few phases. And One For All also coming in with a potential, very potential upset in the previous game. So I'd love to see them try and evolve that a little bit more, right?
Yeah.
Really go out there and push a little.
Yeah, I do think that teams are very methodical, but if you do want to deal with especially the big top 2 teams that are usually very aggressive, especially the Vicious, I think that, as you said, you need to see them be willing to go on the more aggressive aspect of the game and just be willing to take fights if it does have a good reward at the key. I think you see that a lot of the time coming out from Vicious. On the last game, for example, in Montenuevo, they had this split trying to send some players outside, southeast of the city itself to try and kind of sweep their backs. And if they win the fight, guess what? That actually makes it easier for them to make their way into the city because you don't have that potential threat behind you looking to just completely negate your own rotation. So it's something that you got to be kind of playing 4D chess and actually kind of thinking ahead of the game, not just be like step after step, kind of being very proactive as to what your game plan actually are in every single one of these games, which Vicious are doing. Sometimes Ozrox and the rest of the lobby can try and learn from those top 2 squads. But there's still an opportunity for them to make it happen, right? I think that this is the cool thing about this tournament in particular, is that it's a learning opportunity for these teams, and as they do meet defeat every single game, it feels like eventually they will have that kind of click moment where, oh, okay, this is what's working in this lobby, and we can try and use it in our own gameplay and hopefully step up our own PUBG Mobile Esports kind of adventure here in these TETO's Games tournaments.
Yeah, I think another interesting thing that I've also noticed is that in the first 2 matches of the day, because we're not really counting Rondo because that's a bit of a crazy round, right? But
Yeah.
looking at how the first 2 Erangels went, the teams were focusing a lot more in their immediate area, right? Whereas moving into Miramar, it seemed like they expanded that scope a little bit more, right? Focusing on teams not just immediately ahead of them, but also teams a little bit further away. Not necessarily engaging with them, but keeping a really close eye on those positions. So I like where it's heading, right? And I agree with you. This is a great learning opportunity for teams to figure out how to really approach this, right? How to compete against a team like the Vicious in the lobby. And I think if they are able to find a tactic that really works and helps them succeed, they're just going to be so much better of a team.
Yeah, genuinely. I mean, it's great to have international level exposure, right? It's not every day you can play against a PMGC caliber roster like the Vicious. So it's really good if you can actually use that and just level up your own gameplay in the process of getting stomped by Vicious in these games. So yeah, it is a very, very good opportunity that is very rare, very far and few between. Though I am seeing on my map feed, we are slowly but surely getting ready for our next game here. Final game before we reach officially the halfway point of Always On Romania Season 2. It's going to be match number 5 on Miramar once again. And we had a great match last time. It was ended in Montenuevo in the arena portion itself, which we, as you said, DK, we've never seen. Hopefully we can also see a very rare circle happen this time around. Because we've had a lot of views recently. I don't know if you saw that, by the way. We had a circle a few days ago in Miramar and in Oasis up north. Could we have that happen here, right now, in Miramar with match number 5? Let's go.
I need to go see that again. I need to go look. Oasis is is such a crazy place for that zone to end. I mean, also the islands over on that far eastern side, right? That's also not a place that we see the zone really going to anymore, right? It used to back in the day. It's been a very long time since I've seen the zone even touch that area. So, yeah. Curious to see if we could maybe be in for that.
Yeah, they're called the D plus Kia Islands. Those are what they're called now. Ever since PMGC 2024. Yeah, you have to. They are the DK Island. Well, actually, that would be your island, actually, yeah. That's kind of lucky. D plus Kia.
It's mine.
It do be. But, no, that's going to be a location that will not be in this particular circle. Though, one thing that is happening also outside the circle is a big 3-man, 3-squad focused hot drop in El Pozo. It's going to be the same squads, same location, same hectic start to a Miramar match, which I would not recommend, but it seems like they committed to it. And like the first Miramar, DK, this time I don't really have an excuse card to give to these teams because we know it was going to happen. And yet they committed to it once again.
Yeah. We'll see if they are going to stay committed to that to that position, or maybe look to get themselves situated elsewhere. It might end abruptly, right? Because Vicious are rolling up as well. So talk about surprises coming through across the board. It doesn't seem like there's too much of a continuation, at least not for the time being, right? El Pozo, not much really happening on that front just yet. And, well, the Vicious, they're rolling up into Picado, looking to get themselves a little bit further up in towards the zone. Actually rotating away from the zone, Max.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Where could they be going?
Pachinki?
Boy, that's really far. That's different map. Okay, they're really on the wide rotate. No, maybe just to get some extra loot, just kind of spread their wings early on to get as much loot as possible, and also maybe some different car spawns. Could be the intent. So I never tend to judge too hard phase 1 rotations. I'm just like, yeah, they probably have an early game plan they want to try and stick to. But when you see weird rotator on circle 3, 4, 5, then that's when you can really raise an eyebrow. Good nade! That's going to be, actually, even better than I thought. I wasn't sure he was going to get the damage into a knock. I thought he was just going to find a bit of damage to scare them away. But Big Baby, again, falling like flies. Crying in their pram as Matek puts them to sleep with a very heavy method here. Oh my goodness, the DBS echoing throughout the battlegrounds here. He's able to find it, and that is going to be the end of the line. Big Baby again suffering a massive L at the kickoff of Miramar. And Motion will be taken home for easy eliminations. And I really mean it. It looked easy with what they were doing there.
Are you sure the shotties got nerfed? Because
Maybe I lied. Maybe I did.
Because that surely didn't look like there was any nerfing that took place on that. Because that was just so accurate and so devastating. But you know what? It's good for Motion, right? Because they need points. They came into this match with not a whole lot over on their end. They've been able to secure themselves. I believe it was 5 eliminations so far. Now they're already sitting on 4, so they're 1 point away from doubling their points.
I always love when people say, like casters say that, it's a bit of a negative comment hidden as a compliment. So they've had a terrible day, but look, guys, they doubled their points. It's a good, but it is true. It is true. That's exactly what's happening. Reizendo and Ryuga, they came into this game as a duo, so it's a bit of a weird one. But oh no, he just come. Okay, well that's an easy point. Just wait. He's gonna come upstairs, get completely pincered between those two players. He has no idea. Don't go upstairs. Please. Don't. You'll regret it. Trust me, bro. Please. It's not worth it.
They'll have a bit of a 404 error. Here it comes.
There's no loot, I swear. It's not worth it. Don't go up there. Trust me, bro. You can see Ryugo's aim training on the head of his teammate. He's ready to lock in.
I feel like I need popcorn, Max.
Oh no. There you go. Oh my, he wasn't even given a chance. That was an actual jump scare. If you were him, you just go up and you're just instantly done. Feels bad. What do? You literally don't know. There's no comeback. Yeah.
That's just you just put your device down and go have a warm cup or something.
Yeah, you just tell your teammates in voice chat, sorry guys, my game lagged. I get. Oh, I don't know what happened. Sorry guys, but I had no clue.
Yeah, because there's really not much you can do, right? There's a beautiful strategy coming through from the 4-4 era team. Is it a?
Wait. Would you call that a strategy? I wouldn't call that a strategy. For me, they were just camping. Because they've only got a duo, so they're just like, yeah, we're just going to wait. Look, they're trying to do it again. They know you're there. It's not going to work again.
But they moved floors.
Oh, did they? Oh, actually, it's like, oh, you got to guess which floor we on. Ooh. The haunted building in San Martin.
Is it floor 1, 2, 3, or 4? Well, it's a surprise. Come in and figure it out. It's like a haunted mansion, right?
It is.
Yeah, a haunted apartment building. Ooh, speaking about a haunted, that is not a haunted, as you can see. Dennis just trying to fly on through, but it's going to be Zero just locking in their heads, finding quite a bit of damage. And the vehicle, going for a quick little bit of a stumble.
He's
Dennis
alive.
might not make it out. I hope, at least, well, I don't have to hope. I know Dennis at least has a helmet on, so, that part works.
Yeah, he's still kicking. Damn. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no. Okay, so you said they did go down the floor. Actually, I'm not even sure. Did they? Maybe they went back up. It's got the pump. Oh, nade's cooked. Gonna be a bit more cautious. Yeah, so they did go down the floor. Initially, they were on the top floor. Oh, nade's gonna be chucked. But it's gonna be the off angle. It was a bait play! It works out for you, Ryuga. Now, that was definitely a strategy. That was something they were doing intentionally. Not just trying to do the good old jump scare plan. 2 eliminations. Spread evenly between the 2 members. Good nade damage to Error team. Razvan looking to go back into hiding. Got very good amount of meds actually. 4 first aids. A lot of stems, energy drinks. The Uzi spray echoing throughout the building. Now they're going for the jump shot and it's not working. Everything falls apart. Unbroken Pro. Gonna be fully broken. bit by bit, player by player. And now it's looking to be turned on its head completely. DK, what the hell is happening in San Martin?
Max, this is farming, right? They are farming the side of Unbroken.
There's no way they got 2v4'd. The thing is, genuinely, I think this was a bit of an ego push. They just wanted to send it because, oh, why not?
Yeah.
But genuinely, you lose a player, you just don't go for it. If the team is not moving, it's not worth it. And I feel like their ego was really pushing them to commit to it. And, well, yeah, 4-0. GG.
Yeah. I mean, that was easy work for 404, right? I mean, a little bit of R&R, and they got the points on the board. So you can't really fault that, right? I think if you want to say anything, you got to say it about Unbroken. It's like, why would you send your entire team into the exact same building where you know the one guy has already been jumped? Right? It doesn't make sense, but you know what? GG for trying, though. In the meantime, it is going to be the players here from One Tap. Also now just drifting in, grabbing some vehicles, and off they go, looking to get themselves into a little bit better position, as they still have a decent amount of ground to cover. And I mean, Al-Azhar, yeah, it's right there in the center zone, so they're just making sure that they've got all the ground covered that they need to get the setup secured here. And Dennis, unfortunately, is AFK, at least for the time being.
Yeah, he'll be back. He's just getting himself a bowl of cereal, I'm sure. Just looking to get a mid-game snack. Best way to play PUBG Mobile Esports, to be honest. As Ozzy did to have a bit of substitution jutsu, swapping his car for another. Really good drift to get that vehicle under his control. No team still out in the blue, right? You got RS, you got Motion out there. Still going for their slow early game rotate, and looking at also on back Zephus. Completely peppered from a range. It's going to be Rain looking to get that point, as that car's going to be smoking, not in great condition. They will have to try and set up shop down in the valley. But luckily enough, they don't lose a single member off the back of that. And because of the two players they have on the hilltop, it will force Rain to reposition and go to play it more passive. Though, over to the POV of our current lobby leaders, it's going to be Ozrox versus Vicious, a fight that could dictate what is happening tomorrow if there's hope for Ozrox to be claiming that crown for themselves. As there you go, Navallo looking for the wide reposition. He's in zone, he's got the off angle behind Leon. The spray does some good damage, but not a single knock has yet to be found.
I mean, so far, I like this response coming through from Ozrox, right? Really trying to make it contentious, right? And always a little bit of that healthy contention going forward, as Melas now moves on up, spots the angle onto Navallo. Fortunately, not enough of those shots connecting through. Navallo just escaping over the horizon. But this is where I think Ozrox actually has a bit of an opportunity, right? They have a good play at hand here. Are they going to be able to capitalize on the elevation? It is going to be a full send here, as BC is going to be just sending it up, quickly hopping out of vehicles, missing the opportunity. And this allows the rest of Vicious now to kind of just keep on going like nothing happened. Yes, there's only a 2-piece left, but Vicious, they've not yet been able to secure themselves any elimination. So far, Ozrox actually doing a pretty good job.
Yeah, we're not going to see 5 games with double digits every time. Would have been lovely. Lovely to see, but this as a duo are going to be a bit tough, as Blue just sends it in the sky with the dodge casket. Just going to be able to stick that landing next to El Azhar. Oof, definitely a bit of a interesting send. But Azhar going to be, I believe, could be taken out of the equation pretty swiftly in this game. As not many teams have really committed, have taken that El Azhar gamble. Only really Ryuga up there. And actually 404 Error Team, right, despite spawning into this game as a duo, DK, going for a 1-1 split, right? One player in the city, one player down southwest, just on the outskirts of Truck Stop. It seems like they know they're not going to win this game, so they put their eggs in 2 separate baskets and just hoping one of those 2 players will prevail and get a few placement points. That is indeed the game plan for 404 Error Team.
Yeah. I mean, it does seem like, they are definitely trying to have a good run here, but it doesn't seem like they're going to be too phased if that perhaps doesn't happen. right? So I like that kind of mentality coming in here. They're giving it a shot, seeing what happens, seeing what comes from it. So far, it's paid off, right? It's resulted in them picking up 5 eliminations. So I'm curious to see what other surprises they might have in store for this lobby. But all the way up on towards the north, it is going to be players from One For All trying to gatekeep RS, right? As they now still have to move on. But RS, they are gatekeeping Motion. So it's a little bit of that potential chain fight coming through as the quick trade is brought in by Christie. 1 down, a few more to go in Motion. As soon as they evade RS, they are going to be running straight ahead up into the players there for One For All.
That's the issue with the late rotation in the blue zone for Motion. You just don't know what's going to be between you and the play zone. Here was an entire squad, actually almost 2 teams, right? You got One For All and also RS, Christie looking your way. So Motion definitely need to try and speed up their rotations if they want to have a chance to do something. The nades echoing here in the valley. It's One For All. Just thinking better of it. Not worth it. You know what? We already have also a launching point in the circle itself. So let's just get back into that play zone. There's a decent entry path for them to execute. Outside of that, it did shift again on El Azahar here, DK. We could have a back-to-back city finish. It was Montenuevo earlier, and now it could be El Azahar for our final game of today.
I don't think it's going to be the same as Montenuevo, though, right? Montenuevo is just a completely different beast in comparison. So I like the fact that we already have so many teams situated up on the hills. That already shows me that things are going to be playing out quite differently here. But it's not going to be an easy push, though, for Motion, as they still are going to be trying to regain a little bit of that territory. And the same could go here for RS, right? Things were looking pretty promising, but now they've turned their focus down towards the southern side. It's going to be RSC looking to move in. And it is just shots flying. Christie getting picked up, and out they go.
Definitely a team here or 2 biting the dust. Just quite a relentless circle. Oh, I heard the FAMAS there for a quick second. Indeed, it's going to be in the arsenal of Christian. Swapping on over to the better long-range weapon of the M4. Just bully teams into submission, zone them away, demand respect in this lobby of Always on Romania. There's now a big northern western rotate. It's going to be Rain also looking to kind of bully teams up there on the mountaintop, but Motion will get spotted out. That is going to be the end of the line. Motion eliminated, kept down under in the leaderboards. Yep, looking to escape maybe tomorrow, but for today that is going to be done and dusted. Savage, though, sole survivor. He hears the cars. He hears the motors. As the team is looking to close the gap, it's going to be One For All. They're a little bit late to the party, so they don't exactly know where those players are hiding. But they know someone's here somewhere. And Nebuni is just going to be making sure to peek every single room very cautiously to make sure they don't get caught with their pants down.
Yeah. At least for them, they don't have to worry about 404, right? Because they're not here. They're all the way back in El Azhar, and yeah, now they can just focus on clearing out that church. You can see Savage and them trying to pick their teammate back up, bring them back into the swing of things. But it's going to be a full send here by Bug as he looks for the angles, try cooking up those nades. A little bit of a cheeky jump up on the roof. This could be an interesting approach. One For All now going full send here as they've caught scent of some action ahead of them. Savage, the last one, therefore his team, and this could be that deciding play now.
Or I love how Bog goes on the roof, does a little bit of parkour just to go straight back onto the ground. He just wanted to flex that he's got the moves.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, he does. But oh, I love these grenade audio cues, by the way, Expo. That's really cool. Pixelated sounds. As One For All. Here you go. It seems like this fight was just put on easy mode until we started getting third-partied by Rain. Christian. It's going to be over to the east, looking to get a few cheeky shots here and there on One For All. They're going to be able to find Caesar, instantly flushed out. And now, this position is not even in the play zone. They're 10 meters away from the playable area. And phase 5 going into phase 6, that blue zone damage is going to be a little bit too much for them to bear. So they can't afford to stick around for too long. They need to put the focus on the play zone. They need to reposition fully. And because of that, Bog will get in the vehicle, and it will leave Savage untouched. As they move, they will be shown their back to a potential enemy. Will Savage strike while the iron is hot? Will he stay hidden as they make it out and Christian spots them?
I think it's safe to say that they won't be bogged down as they just keep on pushing forward. But now, Rain, this is their opportunity with still 4 players in the back to try and make a little bit of that magic happen. But Rain very spread as they now look to condense that even more so. But Christian has been found. Mitza up on the hillside. Still got to watch out for Savage behind them there. But one for all. They are slowly falling one by one. Oh, the hit slow coming in. Savage looking to play the upset. And this could be that opportunity for RSC. Already 7 eliminations in the bag here, Max.
Pretty good points here secured. RSC, Savage. What a backstab and a half. And also now, because Rain did look to fully reposition some of the players, they're going to be able to give him a decent entry point in the zone. So who knows, maybe a top 5 is in the cards for him as an individual. Grenade. Oh, good damage. And actually it's going to be Melaz with the AUG to confirm that one. But unfortunately, Blue goes a little bit too far on top and does get traded off by Seko. It's still not the end of the line. If they send the cavalry forward, which is exactly what Leon's doing here with his McLaren, they will be able to get themselves back up in a very healthy condition. As Seko here, cornered against this tree. He is in zone at least, so he can stay here for a little bit longer. But Rain's looking his way, same for Ozrox. I think it's just a matter of time before we do say goodbye to Seko here for this opening day of this tournament for Romania.
Oh, ooh. I was just about to say push is going to come to shove here, but it's going to be Seko trying to back out of this, but unfortunately backs out into the lobby as he's not going to be able to hold on any much longer. Ozrox, though, still looking pretty good here. 7 eliminations up. It'll definitely help them close that insane gap ahead of them, but it's not going to be an easy one game, though, right? With 4 players up, it does make things considerably easier, especially looking at the fact that they have quite a bit of control over on the southern side, but they still got to try and push through Rain. They still have quite a few other teams standing between them and that winner chicken dinner, right? To have their plate full of feathers come end of this round. So let's see who's going to bag it up, Max.
Still up in the air. Do you have a few favorites, right? Looking at One for All, you're looking at Ozrox. They still got the full squad ready to go at a moment's notice. Outside of that, it's just basically solos and duos. Which, by the way, one of the duos is still 404 Error Team that spawned in as a duo. Still are fully up as a duo. And yet, somehow got 5 eliminations along the way. Of course, 4 of those were happening inside San Martin. Which, how did that happen? Still no clue. They just got away with absolute murder there. There's One for All now looking to defend the valley. It's going to be Rain sending 2 players down under. But Ozrox will keep them in check, stopping them from peeking over the ridgeline, which indirectly is assisting that rotation of Rain.
Oh. Will they reign supreme? That is going to be the big question. Right. 2 players up, 6 eliminations in. Not an overly contested western position that they find themselves in, but they are, of course, down in the dip, so not the easiest position to try and bounce back from. 4-on-4, though, Max. They still have the full squad in this lobby, right? Well, full duo, because that's what they started with, and that is what they have. 5 eliminations, so no changes really coming through on their front. This would be an absolutely insane game if 404 took the winner chicken dinner here.
Would be a crazy one. I mean, literally, if they wanted that one opportunity at redemption, Ozrox needed a chicken dinner. So far, 7 points in terms of elims. Top 6, so they're getting placement points. That could be the opportunity. It feels like Avengers Infinity War, when you have that single timeline where the comeback is possible. And this might just be the one, as they've got also a great position here, DK. Down south on the mountaintop. If the circle favors their location, I'm talking twice in a row until circle 8, and they don't have to really budge too much, and they just kind of play in tower defense mode. This could be the game Ozrox have been just hoping for the entirety of today.
Yeah, and it's not going to take them 4 years, Max. Right, so if they want their comeback story, the opportunity is definitely at hand. So let's see whether or not they will be able to unlock those hidden features. All for One, though, are going to be proving to be quite a bit of a challenge up on that northern side. So trying to be as consistent as they can, reaching across the way, poking and prodding, Looking for anything that they could maybe bag up alongside that. McQueen, though, I wonder if he's going to come flying over that hillside and just soaring into the action. A quick little bit of a stop over at the repair shop, as they need to make sure that they've got the best chance of surviving it all the way into this next phase. Well, of course, just a few seconds left on the clock until rather stage 7 is going to be revealed. And it's still anybody's game at this point.
Until phase 7, I think this one's going to be very telling of how this game is going to wrap up. Because if it goes on the valley, then it truly is going to be anyone's game to secure this final chicken dinner. Quick little view of the map feed as we do head into Circle 7. Prediction here, GK. Where's it going? I'm curious what you're thinking.
South.
Oh, I think it's going to Ozrox. Same. I agree.
Yeah.
And because we say that, it's going to go up north. I'm calling it now. Oh, no. Okay, well, south it is. It's going to be Ozrox. Not as south as it could have realistically been. So Ozrox will have to tighten up their split just a bit, which could open up a push to the west, right? Rain, if Blue repositions in the zone, they could go for a big western rotate up on the mountaintop. But they go for a quick rotation to just get that ridgeline in check. So Ozrox, it seems like no one is even willing to encroach on that mountaintop.
Yeah. I've just seen that you've been requested not to predict a particular team in an upcoming event. You know that whole great power comes great responsibility, Max. So yes, be fair in that. So we'll see now whether or not Ozrox are going to be able to close the gap here, as they look to be pretty strong coming through on the southern edge. They've got the elevated angles, and actually it is helping Rain a little bit with sneaking into that zone. But is it going to be paying off for them? 404 also yet to move on through. No more opportunities for surprises, as Leon, though, is going to get traded. Not confirmed just yet, but he is down on his knees, and that opens up the door for Jeezy to come running right up to the forefront here. Blue definitely has to come through with a response.
Yeah, he's going to give it a fair shot. Blue did not regroup in the play zone. But he's just going to be serving as that kind of pincer angle for his team. Mitza taking a bit of a beating. Jeezy might suffer a very similar fate. So he has 4 nades in his hand, but he will not be able to even chuck them, as he's just getting instantly punished. The western side is dominated by the Bulls as Ozrox for the win. As Jeezy just going to go for a bit of a jump down the hilltop. Takes a bit of full damage. It will be but a scratch. Now, swapping on over instantly to the medkit. Mitza will just bleed out in a moment's time. As over to the east, it's still going to be 1 for all and 404. 404 has a duo here. Now it's going to be a solo. They could still look to claim this chicken dinner, which would be an insane ton of events. But the Circle, though, has a different plan in mind.
Yeah, but I think this match so far is really good for the team morale of Ozrox, right? Like, they're doing pretty good. They've got those double digits. They've got quite a bit of controlling position up in the zone, and they just got to keep doing what they're doing so far, right? It is paying off, and it's looking pretty good. So I'm excited to see how this one is going to pan out for Ozrox. Meanwhile, Aussie now is going to be waiting patiently. CR7 also a little bit further down the line. So whatever Aussie is attempting, if he cannot follow through, that is going to be pretty much tickets with him, right? Because there's no chance for CR7 to provide any assistance or help in this play whatsoever. So let's see how this one is going to pan out. Stage 9 is going to hit very, very soon. So whatever needs to happen very quickly.
Will CR7 go be able to drop the Sue at the end of this game? Possibly, though. A lot of tension thrown their way. Oh, gonna have to go for a quick U-turn with their supercar. But objective complete. They know where this player is located. They know where Aussie's playing from. Still not a single nade flying from Ozrox, which takes a while. Oh, there you go. 2 players looking to cook up that nade. I think Aussie knows he's going to be contested here on that ridge line. Just to go a little bit lower on that ridge to keep himself safe from that incoming grenade. Oh, he's so annoyed. CR7, he wants to get rid of that solo, but he's just playing the time game, hoping to outlive this fight and get a 2nd place. He's hoping for the silver medal, as Ozrox do lose 1. And now CR7 stuck in a 1v1v3 scenario. He's looking for Ryuga. He makes it in the smoke. He's able to survive a bit deeper once again, finding, I think, a rock as cover, as CR7 just going to be fully cornered on the low ground by Ozrox. We're on stage 8. Ozzy will be flushed out by blue. And CR, also, it seemed like he saw what Ryuga's doing, DK, and he's just trying to play the same way.
Yeah, just going to try and survive here. Trying to buy as much time as they can, but as we know, that timer is going to run out very quickly as stage 9 is about to hit, and that means there's only one way out of here, right? It's either as the winning team or in through the lobby. The Blue Zone, of course, very willing to help assist teams in the process of leaving through the lobby itself. But now it is going to be a bit of a bombardment raining down across the way there onto 404. So you can see Ryuga managing to hold on for so long. Goat, oh, getting dropped on down to 404 max. Getting a second place finish, even though they only started with 2 players coming into this match.
Oh, you could tell CR7 was just pissed. Like, he really wants to get rid of Ryuga so he can get the second place and get the extra placement point and hopefully also that elimination on top. But no, he was unable to get himself in nade range and he was not able to get that second place. Still, really good game from 404 and, of course, Ozrox. We said it at the start of this match, right? If we wanted to see them be able to catch up to the big dogs or Vicious, they needed to get a massive game. And you know what? Double-digit elimination chicken dinner will do exactly that for you. So, good to see, and we'll also have to see, of course, very soon, actually, the leaderboards to see how close it actually is between these 2 squads in the rankings, because if it's down to around 20 points, which I think is what we have right now on the board for these teams, it's doable. The Ozrox could play the comeback game, and indeed it is going to be a 21-point difference between Vicious and Ozrox, so who knows, tomorrow Ozrox could play that comeback card.
Yeah, I mean, it does look quite hopeful here for them. You know, I think this would be a great boost and kind of assuring them that if they look to replicate these exact same efforts tomorrow, there could be some hope, right, for them to catch up. But realistically, I don't necessarily know if the Vicious will be allowing too much of that, right? It is the Vicious after all. So, yeah, I mean, either which way you look at it, still, I'd say a really good performance coming through here from the side of Ozrox. Really like how they kind of just asserted themselves onto those last few zones. But I think a cheeky star here was 404, right? With that duo upset they had, just farming an entire squad in one building.
I kind of hope they never play as a full team again and just come in as a duo. You know, that would be... It's kind of their brand now of playing as a duo and just trolling teams and city finishes. Well, not even city finishes, sorry, city starts, I guess I should really say, because that's what happened for them over in good old San Martin. So very impressive stuff. Though, I'm still waiting to see a comeback from Big Baby, even likes of Motion that so far did not have the kickoff we were hoping for. I think that they are the team that has the most potential to improve upon tomorrow's 5 matches. So we'll see how that's going to be going for them. But overall, good day. And yeah, Vicious Ozrox here, DK looking just insanely strong on these opening 5 matches.
Yeah, they were looking quite strong. But you know what also ties in quite well with being strong is we also have to make a prediction of MVP, right? Because that is a nice surprise. I actually like that production is asking us who we think is going to be the MVP ahead of showing us who it is. Who do you think?
Okay, wait. So DK, I think we both agree it has to be a player from Vicious, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you got Koa, you got Doran, you got yourself, of course, Icy, and you have Narvalo. Narvalo had a way lower survival time on the first few games, so I don't think it's Narvalo. And Icy's been really strong with the off angle, so I'm going to go with Icy. I think he's got really high damage and a ton of eliminations.
I'd go with Koa.
Okay, fair.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it is time to reveal who was our daily MVP. If the graphic is ready, hopefully it is. I hopefully didn't go too early. Apparently I did, maybe. MVP now. Yeah, there we go. We got it. And it's going to be Icy. I'm right on the money. The man, the myth, the legend himself here of Europe is looking strong. 23 eliminations to his name. 8 assists. Of course, very low compared to his total eliminations. So taking no prisoners and a total damage of almost 4,000. Which makes sense, right, DK? Because he was serving as the off-angle player for a majority of these games for his team. Meaning he's just going to zone teams away, take those really long-range sprays, and get involved in those skirmishes. So I see very deserving of being awarded the MVP title of day 1 here for Romania.
Yeah, it makes a whole lot of sense, especially looking at the numbers on board. So a big GG going out to IC for pulling that one off. But yeah, another big question is who's going to be our MVP for tomorrow then, Max? Do you want to make a prediction ahead of time? Or do you want to
Icy.
wait until we're closer? Oh, you think it's going to be
I'm not
icy
even-
again?
I'm not even going to wait for you to finish your sentence. I'm going to
Yes.
say icy, right? No, I think it's just they're a very momentum-based team, right? When they get that ball rolling and they feel confident, they just become an absolute menace in these kind of lobbies. And I think they're looking to be crowned our back-to-back champions here. They won the Season 1, right, for Romania. And it's looking very likely, DK, they're going to be doing that exactly for tomorrow's extra 5 matches.
Yeah, I wouldn't be all too surprised if that was going to be how it all ends up going. But I mean, I'm really hopeful that Ozrox can continue what they did here today, especially in this last match, right? Really bring in quite a beautiful response. And so I just want to see them kind of keep that momentum flowing into tomorrow, right? Rondo, I think, is going to be the big opportunity for teams to really secure points, right? So if any, Rondo should be the match.
I would agree. I think Rondo is going to be the very telling map of tomorrow as to is there an opportunity for some squads to be involved in that conversation to be crowned our champions, or unfortunately some teams, their dreams will be crushed pretty much instantly on that opening game of tomorrow in Rondo. With that said, that is going to be it for our opening day here of Always On Romania Season 2, brought to you by TETO Games. Of course, make sure to check them out on tetogames.com if you want to check out all the good old details of this tournament. DK, thank you so much also for joining me for the broadcast today. It was an absolute pleasure. We'll see you all tomorrow, same time, same place for our second day with 5 matches to see who will be crowned our champions.